something I can answer that question.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, gotta make sure I get myself situated. How we doing, team?
We're okay. Yeah, it's just been a rough it's been a rough week.
Rough week. Why? What's been going on, sir?
Let's see. The whole thing with Kim Potter, the officer who,
which we'll get into definitely.
Right. Okay. She got what did she get? 2 years?
Yeah,
with a maximum of 7. It was.
Oh look, yet. Let's get some little bit of shout outs to
Yeah. And hi to everybody in the chat. And
thanks for joining us.
Yeah, man, I got some crazy issues going on with my screen. There we go. My lighting was a little off.
What's up? What's up, Extra Bulla, War Deer down there? Steve Cutler. Oz.
Looks like they got my avatar this time.
I mean, it's pretty. Everybody knows them. They'll need to shave.
It's been a long few months.
They'll need to shave. Yeah,
it's about to be over. Don't worry.
Let's see. We got, of course, Baba Yaga Prepper in here. We got Uncle Warren. We got ICU. Tina, hello.
Okay, what's up, Tina?
Lucky.
Charlie Brown. What's up? Variant.
Brown.
Hi.
Variant. Let's see. SD. Hamza
SD.
Mir.
All right. Jack, what's up?
Well, Jack is there. Hey, Jack, let me know if you want to come in, and I'll send Jack words of will. How we're doing? Yeah, just let me know. And Misha, hey, glad to see everybody in there. Jack, if you want to hop in, just let me know, and I'll send it to you. And what is that? Discord. Tonight we got an interesting show. Oh, I guess let me go all the way around the wheel. I'll go to Chris before he gets too distracted. We all know all the festivities with the All-Star Game. For those who don't know, Chris is a rabid sports fan. But how are we doing, Chris?
Yeah, what's good, man? I was just here watching Trey Young. He was just shooting. You know, he plays on the Atlanta Hawks, but he just made it to the next round. So I'm like doing I'm using all my brain capacity. So if I'm not good tonight, forgive me. But other than that, same old shit, man. Worked a lot this week. Yesterday we had a power outage in the neighborhood, so and the network was down. So they was like, get out of there. So it's pretty much like the first early day, which is about 4:40. But than that, just working hard and just following up on all this, all the shit that's happening. It's a lot of shit, but then it's not, right? It's kind of like feel like we're in a holding pattern, like we just waiting
until the next thing happens. That's what it feels like.
Correct. Yeah, it's annoying as hell, but that's where we are with it. Other than that, man, I'm good. I can't complain really. L, what's up? E, what's up?
What's up?
Yep.
Yeah, how are we doing tonight, L?
We're doing all right. Better than yesterday. Oh my gosh, I've had some phone drama that anyone who might be interested can see on my Twitter page. It's pretty.
Don't call it drama. Call it an adventure.
It's an adventure. Oh, it gets even more
straight adventure
every day.
Oh my God.
Basically, Verizon bought out the prepaid wireless company that I used, an MVNO or whatever the hell they call it. And
Mr. Street, what's up?
And now I'm stuck. And now I was like in a quandary because I didn't know that they got acquired on November 21st, 2021. But apparently they did. So they just
sign
Mr. Street. And then so yeah, I basically just Epstein. That's Epstein, whatever. Who cares?
You guys see, you know, I know everybody will hate this, but the Drake and Future song has inspired me, as you can see by my avatar. I'm too sexy now.
Yeah. It's double the dose of awesome. Nice. Double dose for Kelly if she ever comes into this chat. Kelly, get here. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah,
our friend.
you want me to sing a couple of those bars that were inspiring me? You know, I'm too sexy for my land, New York, all junk.
By the way, who knew that they would be so fucking awakened this year and like one of the truth speakers of the industry? It's pretty crazy. Shout out to Right Said Fred. They are doing it. Those guys are amazing in the movement. So I don't know if you guys know that they're in the movement and everything for the anti-mandates and everything, but they've been at the top of tier of that movement. For real though, like to get serious. But anyway, yeah, Kelly, get in here. But
hi, Kelly.
Kelly, there you are, girl.
And I'll make sure to give everybody an apology. The reason why we're running late is because of me. I am always trying to juggle a whole lot of different things, and for my panel tomorrow, I will I got a couple of videos, little short clip together videos going into a couple of historical things, which I'm going to play before we have that panel. So I'm still behind, working like a madman. Been doing a lot of throwing punches and bunches verbally, of course, online. So I've been doing some of that too with people, sparring with some dumbasses about this whole trucker stuff. So you know, I literally had somebody make the argument that the neoliberals and the conservatives are racist, but they're siding with the neoliberals. And I'm like, do you realize you're saying you still are backing a racist agenda? And that, I guess that just went over there. They're like, but it's different because I've done research and I'm doing research, so mine is different than you doing research and you supporting. And that's the one thing. The one thing I don't get with all these people is they all have it in their head that they're not supporting the shit libs, yet while they're supporting the shit libs, and everybody else is automatically thrown into the Republican racist category if they support the truckers.
All right. Well, anyway, I lost my phone service. Short story long, and now I had to get my landline connected, and I was able to do that. But I can only have a call for it was 5 minutes before being put on the charger. Now it's 12. So that's pretty impressive. I got to 12 minutes today. So that's how that's going. Hopefully I can have a 5-minute conversation to tell my psychologist we're probably not going to have an appointment this week because President's Day is Monday, and my SIM card for the company that I went with is probably not coming until after Wednesday. So that is where I am there. So I can't text these guys or whatever. They were like tweeting me, and I'm like, you already tweet me. So I'm like, or DM me. Like, I don't know. It's like not the biggest deal in the world. But not texting is weird. And it also really helps my mental capacity because I'm not thinking about notifications all the time. So I had a really long walk today, just listening to some albums that I had in my phone because I couldn't do anything else because I don't have any data or anything on the move. So I recommend like getting out there and just enjoying yourself, enjoying the fresh air, especially on a hotter day, and getting that vitamin D that's so essential to building up your immune system, or used to be anyways.
Well, as we heard with the whole popcorn popper thing, maybe you were already getting vitamin D back then, and I don't know.
I still don't understand how that became a sexual thing. I
wanted to say shout out to ICU. I see you out there, ICU. And Choosy Heretic is in the building too. So I just wanted to make sure to shout them out. Yes, unplugging is good. Good.
Oh, so, like a popper from the gate, the 80s and the 90s and the drug, like the popper that Fauci used to talk about. back in the day being detrimental to the gay lifestyle?
I don't know. I try my best to not not log anything Fauci says in my head for
Stop
too long.
entrees.
I didn't know what the Popper reference was supposed to be. I'm not into that.
If I said the reference,
sorry,
I just can't say the reference.
I want to understand, but I can't.
That's all I'll say. I just can't say it.
I don't get everything.
It's okay.
I'm pure as the driven snow.
See, we're gonna get all sidetracked. I mean, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm gonna leave that alone. But I guess I'll go on ahead and
catch us on Uncle Warren's show.
Yes.
Shout out to Uncle Warren, and we did a really great job. That's why the Popper joke appeared here.
Yeah,
because
so if
that's
you guys,
from that reference.
Y'all want to understand what we're talking about, Popper jokes and things like that, you need to go over and check out Extra Bulla. We had the whole team. We were all there. It was a nice, wild, and ruckus time. Atra says his parents are in town. Hopefully, it's going good. I know everybody don't always have that congenial, perfect relationship with the fam, so I'll leave it at that. But tonight's show, we are going to.
Oh, we already.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead. We did it. I forgot.
Yeah.
We only have 4 people. Fine.
Yeah.
Well, Jack might be joining us. So I just send him the link now so he can come and join the conversation. But this is going to be our new time frame. So log it in, set your alarms if you need to. So I know even if sometimes it looks like, oh man, are they having a show? I haven't seen them post a link yet. I haven't seen anything pop up on the channel. This will be our time. I mean, sometimes maybe it's 6 if I'm ready. I don't have too much stuff I'm trying to get wrapped up, or 9 for you guys on the East Coast. But probably 6:30, 9:30 will definitely be the time period. And I figured that helps. That'll help my buddy Shadow for him to be able to get in here because I know it's a little bit later for him, because he gets up early. ICU says, Marcus, I was promoting the panel you're doing tomorrow on Sabby's chat there. Thank you. Thank you. It is going to be ruckus. Me and Chris are going to host this. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, actually, let me share the screen. I'm pretty sure you guys saw it already, but let's pull it off. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me pull up the channel first. And I'll pull up the channel. That way you guys can all see it while we talk about it, and that way I won't forget anything that I want to mention about it. All right, there it is. I'm not super fast with this stuff, but I am getting it together. All right. Here it is. That way you can see it there on the screen. Oh, wait a minute. Let me click that one part off to make sure it pans all the way out. What the heck is that? I don't know why it's doing it that way. That's weird. It kind of cut off Nico there at the bottom, and it cut off Dontel. But yes, me and Chris will be hosting Black History Month. This was going to be on the What I've Been Thinking channel, which make sure you guys are following guys, gals, boys and girls. Or others follow the what we've been thinking with Marcus K's channel. On that channel, that's where I'm going to be probably doing more of my interviews and stuff over there. That way it can be long form and I can narrowly focus and get into more topics on there. Sometimes we just have too much going on in the panel to be able to actually get an interview going. So make sure to follow What We've Been Thinking with Marcus Cage. The reason why it's not on there I'm not going to be on there for tomorrow is because I apparently got a copyright strike. I mean, not copyright strike. I got a community standards strike and the video taken down for
That's
the
a
interview.
neat one.
Yeah, the interview I did with Nico House, apparently it had been fine for 2-3 weeks, and then all of a sudden it gets yanked down. So I'm still I'm appealing that right now. I'm still trying to get clarification on why it's been what violations that I did. But for those who follow me on Twitter, you guys have seen, me talk about it a little bit here and there, but that's why it will be on the Political Matrix. It will be tomorrow, 4 p.m. Well, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. It will be 1:30 Pacific and 3:30 Central Time. So make sure you guys tune in for that. The reason why I was late is because a couple of videos, which I'm working on, that are going to play, probably they'll come on about 30 minutes before at the top of the hour. So 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. I will have those videos that'll play right before that, and then that'll lead into the live stream. As you can see, we have Dontel Hines from Unapologetic. We have Sappy Sabs, and Nico House that'll be there, and of course, Glory MFN Jones. So,
All-Star team.
yes, and Chris is going to be helping me get that together. Ruckus conversation, just be ready for it. So I wanted to share that before we got into the topics we have today. Let's back that up. So tonight's show, it's titled Trudeau, International Strike, Jean-Luc Brunel, Bill Gates, and more. So we have a couple other stories I'm sure we'll kind of get into, and they'll kind of probably dovetail into other stuff. You guys know how we do it over here. But without further ado, we will get the show started. Wait a minute. That's what I forgot. We can't get the show started until what am I doing? Until I play our intro.
Play the intro.
I gotta play the intro. Cue up the intro. See, I'm running behind, so I didn't have all this stuff ready ahead of time, but let's get it popping. Let's get it percolating. All right, hold on. Almost there. Show intro. And for those who are not familiar with Political Matrix, here's a little bit of the craziness and fun here.
You are here because you have a question that you need an answer to. Thanks for joining me.
About Trump, and then you get caught happy. Yeah, no, I mean, like the cool diggers, they also want to see it. However,
All right, and the Political Matrix is starting. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. What'd you say there?
I say, is Glory here? Because I see Jack in the chat. He's like, is Glory here?
Did Glory sneak herself in here somewhere? Where's she at? I see hearts to Glory. Oh, maybe they were just giving a shout out because she's.
Okay.
Maybe they were just giving a shout out because they saw that she will be tomorrow.
Cool.
But I was wondering, which story did you? I'll pass it around. Which story did you guys want to get into first? You know what? Emmanuel already brought up the Kim Potter situation. Let's go into Kim Potter first. Hey, Shadow, I see Shadow's there. Yes, this is going to be the new time, Shadow. So make sure this will work out perfect for you. We're up a little bit. We'll be a little bit earlier, so you'll be able to catch us. Yes, ICU. I did do that with him in mind, with Emmanuel in mind, with Chris in mind, with all of my people who are on the East Coast or even a little further across the pond. All of you guys in mind to try to make it a little bit more convenient. But the Kim Potter story. Let's give everybody, a quick reminder of who Kim Potter is and why we're talking about this story. Oh, E?
Oh, right. You're going with me.
Yeah. I want you.
Okay, I thought you were going to play a video or something. I apologize.
I can always keep gabbing, but you can do it. You got this.
Kim Potter was sentenced this week, and it's just kind of.
I was saying before we get into the sentence, let's remind people who Kim Potter is and the whole situation.
I can't remember.
Or I'll go.
I'm blanking on his name. Wait.
I'll go into. I remember because I was like, me and Jack talked about this on my other channel on Talk of the Ages with Jalen was on there. Kim Potter, for those who don't remember, Kim Potter is the Minnesota officer who was training who was training another police officer. They did the traffic stop on Dante Wright. I guess he started trying to I guess they said pull off from the scene. There we go. Jack is here right on time. Thank you. Yeah, we're talking about the Kim Potter situation.
Kim Potter.
And so, yes, perfect timing because this was a situation where she said she was trying to grab her taser and she grabbed her firearm. Jack, can you explain what is the problem with that? Why that's
sure?
Yeah.
So from a basic level, you really don't need to know anything about firearms at all. You just need to know about weighting. So a taser is plastic usually. Maybe reinforced plastics or something like that. But what I'm kind of getting at is the weight feels different. Also during the training, they'll keep a side that they actually keep it holstered on, so they know. There's all these protocols that they're supposed to go through. So her saying that, like when I saw her saying taser, that viscerally made me outraged because I knew she was.
I remember that.
Doing that.
I remember that whole conversation where he was.
Yeah.
Where he was. Yeah, I remember that where you were explaining the exact difference between being able to get your taser and being able to get your gun, and how it was impossible for her to be able to make that distinction. I remember. Okay, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, well, and there's the waiting. There's also like, and again, I never worked in law enforcement. I had some friends that did. They got fleshed out pretty quick. But most of it was even they commented on the training aspect. When you pick up your gun, there's so much from the aspect of consequences alone from picking up a firearm versus a taser. That alone right there was just kind of weird to me. But the fact that that it felt to me like she knew she was on camera because the way she was shouting taser, even though she's holding a gun, like it's the cognitive dissonance either, like being generous towards her, but at the same time, it's like you've done this training specifically not to do what you just did.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. She is a trainer. She was the trainer on this
people.
Exactly.
She trained people how to get past situations like exactly what she's been in. And she knows the routine, she knows the scheduling, she knows exactly what to say and how to say it, and yeah. So.
And that, Marcus, you hit on something. If she was a trainer, that means she also knows, depending on how shady that police department is, how to get past a charge like this.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're on camera shouting taser, like to me, it's the fact that she's shouting taser. Sure, that's done because you're alerting people around you that you're not using a firearm. But at the same time, you're using a taser. And so like with the training, though, it comes to me like I'm more worried about why didn't we hear about all the people that she trained getting recalled? Because there's a definite implicit racial bias.
That's
exactly what scientists brought up
right
just
here.
now.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to retrain everybody.
Oh, yeah. 100%. And that's just from a basic training standpoint, not even on firearms or safety, just a basic training aspect. If a trainer is caught doing something that vicious, like just from a standpoint of ignoring all protocols that they're supposed to be following, that they tell us they're following, that we're supposedly paying our taxpayer dollars for, when we all know that's bullshit, and then we see the bullshit on TV, it's just another form of gaslighting, really, is what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, and going to tell everybody what was the sentence? What did she get?
Okay. I'm having a little trouble because I'm having a med situation, but it should be 2 years. With the maximum, when the prosecutor was actually going for a maximum of 7. And
Yeah, she got the bottom end of the scale, which
and Dante's mother was pissed about it.
Yeah, Dante Wright. For those who don't know, Dante Wright was a young man who was killed. And so like a lot of people have been talking about, how the white
Happy
tears
birthday, Tina.
got people off. And that was the whole issue that a lot of people had a big issue with. They don't care about his mom crying, his father crying, their family. But Kim Potter gets on there and cries. And if you're an officer of 26 years, I believe it said for her, there shouldn't be any light sentences for this. So there we go. Kelly put it in there.
I'm surprised nobody's talking about what the judge did.
16 months plus 6 months probation. She won't do a year. She won't even
keep in mind though, her 6 months of probation though, the blue line, right? I really want people to take this point at home. I'm going to guarantee when a cop does probation, they know their PO. So they know the person that they're reporting to.
Yeah.
So they're going to get off. Like what I'm getting at is that if anyone's dealt with a friend that's had to deal with the PO and knows the like school to prison pipeline, knows how the system is self-reinforcing, how if you have a PO that doesn't like you, you're just fucked. I've had friends that they'll meet their PO and they'll just say, I'm going to be back in a year. There's just no way. They're calling me up at 6 a.m. I have to piss test right then. No one who holds a job can be able to do that kind of commitment. So for her to get that kind of probation and for them to for 6 months, it's just like, what the fuck, dude? Everything about this is infuriating.
Yeah. L put the article in. This is showing the 2 years. Here's what I wanted to bring up about it. What a lot of people don't think about is this isn't federal. So the fact that it's not federal and it's state, it means like, because if it was federal laws, you have to serve 85% of your time, no matter what the sentence is. In this case, since it's not federal and it's state, the course of the trial, if she was incarcerated for any of that time, that's going to go towards her sentence. So you can be looking at it as, and also she is eligible for good behavior. So
I'm fucking kidding. Sorry,
I know. No, wait, I didn't know that either.
Yes,
I didn't know that part.
You're kidding, right? I didn't know that.
You gotta remember you're dealing with a former corrections guard here.
That. Oh my god!
And she was. Here's the other thing: her being a trainer, she knows a lot of fucking people in that system. So that's even
someone else brought that up.
Even if she wasn't a trainer, Jack, being a cop for 26 years,
exactly.
You know a lot. She got a lot of friends, and
she has a lot of friends. A lot of people who are going to protect her.
It just really points out the systemic issues on a level that I don't know if someone can look at this and it not be in their face on so many levels, right? You could hit this from gun safety. You can hit this from the implicit racial bias that is at play there when someone thinks that.
I mean,
the justice system, it's everything.
God.
Yeah,
jeez, man.
L, I like you to get in there. What's some of your takeaways on this? Like your reaction to like how this is going on, and just kind of, I don't know. At this point, it's kind of a redundant kind of thing that goes on. But just like, what's your take on this, L?
Sorry, I'm noshing.
But I know she's munching, and I decided to just do that because I'm a.
See, I do that. I have to preface this by saying I have a Livet that I'm on, not to make it about me at all, but like, I've been losing weight over 5 months, so I've had a Livet, which is what I call it because it's not a diet. I live it, but I did not coin that phrase. But I have to eat every couple of hours, 4 meals a day, at least. I don't do the 5. That's too many. I'm a girl. I don't care. So I do 4 a day, and I have to eat certain amounts of like vegetables and fruits. It's very boring. And I'm eating nachos before my tortilla, which is going to be a pizzadilla again. So I hate to make it about me for a second, but y'all did put me on the spot. So I've been saying shit in the chat and everything, but like basically like this bitch is dumb, but she'll get off. They all get off kind of eventually. There was a situation with Tony, no, let me get that name. I think it's Tony Tempa. In Dallas, I believe, where not that one. This was another one. So another one that happened with Daniel Shaver. So if you guys remember that shooting,
Was that the one in the hallway?
Yeah, that one was blatantly.
Yeah, that was really bad.
That motherfucker got to keep his pension and get paid after the trial, and there was no justice for that family at all. And in the Tony Tempa, bringing it back to Tony Tempa, they had like everything on camera with the body cams, but it wasn't released until the family was waiting years and years for it to be released.
Let me see if I can bring that up. So yeah, keep going. I'll try to see if I can find it real quick.
So he was had some problems, and he was apprehended, and it was kind of like a George Floyd situation before George Floyd, where he was pretty much abused by the cops as he was arrested for, I think it was some kind of substance that he was using at the time. He was addicted to something. I can't remember exactly what it was. But that didn't get any media attention at the time, and the footage was like delayed from the family, and the family was just waiting for any kind of, justice, and they didn't get any. So
and I want to correct myself. I misspoke. When I said the hallway, I was talking. I was thinking about another one, but I know which one she's talking about. I do remember this.
Oh, sorry.
I talked about it.
There's so many of them that.
It was a hallway.
That's what I was thinking. Like the one.
There's so many of them that it's hard to keep.
The same situation happened in the shooting of the BART. Do you guys remember that?
The Tony Tempo was the one where he's face down.
Yes.
And they the way they had their knee on his back, it was the same as the George Floyd thing.
Yeah.
That's the Tony Tempo, but the one I was thinking of is the one in the hallway, the shooting in the hallway that was pretty graphic.
No, that's the one.
I know the one you're talking about. It's the one where
was that Daniel Shaver you said?
Yeah, Daniel Shaver was the one that was like a video game. The dude was just like on some shit.
With a cop.
Trip.
Yeah, that's the one I want to show. That one was pretty.
That one was really brutal. He didn't even have a weapon.
And I want to give a warning. I want to give a warning to everybody in the audience before I show this. This is a very graphic shooting. This was in Mesa. This was Mesa Police Department. Yeah. So I mean.
Hi, Mariana.
Oh, Mariana's in the building. Hey, Mariana.
Hey, Mariana.
Mariana. Let's go to it here. Just a warning. This is very graphic, and I wanted to kind of talk about this kind of subject just in case we got into a couple of different areas, so that we can at least be able to kind of lighten it up after this, because it's just a messed up situation all the way around. This is the Daniel Shaver situation. For those who are not familiar, like it says here, warning: video contains graphic footage. So if you're a little sensitive to that, give about a minute and 45 seconds, and then you can turn it back up and click back on. But if this is a little too graphic for him, just letting you know, this is going to be upsetting.
Stop right there! Stop! Stop! Get on the ground, both of you! Lay down on the ground! Lay down on the ground! Who else is in the room? Nobody. Nobody else is in the room? Nobody positive? Nobody. Absolutely positive. Okay. Okay, young man, listen to my instructions and do not make a mistake. You are to keep your legs crossed. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. You are to put both of your hands palm down straight out in front of you. Push yourself up to a kneeling position. I said keep your legs crossed. I didn't say there's a conversation. Put your hands.
Now I want to stop it. I want to stop it and interject real quick here. Because at the very moment when he told him to get down, he could have started approaching him. He could have closed that distance and then gave instructions where he was closer, where it's not move or shoot type of situation. That's just one of the things I wanted to put out there. And also another thing, when you're yelling at somebody the way this person is, it's going to make a person freaked out. Most people are not used to having a gun pointed at them and a cop screaming, at the top of his lungs. That also goes into, horrible training techniques, but we'll hop back into it.
Hands up in the air! You do that again, we're shooting you. Do you understand? Do not shoot me. And listen to my instructions. I'm trying to do it. Don't talk, listen! Hands straight up in the air. Do not put your hands down for any reason. You think you're going to fall, you better fall in your face. Your hands go back in the small of your back or down. We are going to shoot you. Do you understand me? Crawl towards me. Crawl towards me! Don't talk!
I guess it stopped it at that point, but
Piece of shit. Oh my
yeah.
god.
No, well,
He was
wanted to
giving
say-
conflicting shit, dude. Not only
No,
that,
I
but
wanted to say something that Jack brought up because I said something, and I noticed it in you too, is that so many of these shootings have happened that either we can find similarities between said shootings or we get the names and the events confused because they're so similar to one another.
Mhm.
They seem to continue, and I said that about Amir a lot the other day, because we seem to keep seeing the exact same thing happen, and at some point, all of the events and names start to blend together.
Yeah.
So when
and-
somebody said,
I think that's on
says,
purpose.
right, I think that's done on purpose.
and
So when
well,
I
and-
hear when I hear the cop, I hear the cop shooting somebody, and them getting off, and the judge feeling sorry for them, and the mother's crying her eyes out. How many people can you think of that would attribute to that exact narrative? So,
because that's what they do. It's like when everything happened with like Breonna Taylor. I knew the second that I saw. I don't remember that dude's name, but they brought the tokenized Mitch McConnell, DA or whatever, the guy that was supposed to bring justice, where he was cutting deals without telling anyone on the jury what was going on. Like that shit was insane, but I wasn't surprised because you're right. It's like it's sad because I don't even expect justice anymore. Like I see shitty. Not only is that shitty training, that is someone who is afraid of someone and who is a little bitch and who has to feel authority by using their firearm against someone to feel like
Exactly.
manly.
Exactly, Jack.
Exactly. That's
So-
all it is.
And that really speaks to a sick society on top of all this.
We
Exactly.
glorify them, we
And-
deify them, we
There was-
we say we throw them money. The
Yeah,
government
he
throws
would
them
have.
money.
For me, that's flat out murder. Like Charlie Brown said, 100% execution. At
Yeah.
the moment his hands were up, why couldn't you just approached him and then had another officer cuff him at that point? Why are you telling somebody to crawl to you? That doesn't make any fucking sense at all. The
That's a
command
demeaning
is
thing.
That's
stupid.
domination. That's a
It's
a
a
dominating
demeaning-
move.
Correct.
It's demeaning. It's right. It's demeaning. It's dominating. It's
Also, the fact of telling somebody to crawl is going to make their pants start, being pulled
They're
down
going to pick
more.
them up. Yeah.
And that's what and what is anybody's natural instinct when their pants starts falling down? To pull their pants up.
And the sick thing is that I've seen it where the person hasn't, has even let their pants fall off and the cop still shoots them.
Yeah. Literally saying you need to fall on your face.
Yeah.
He could have easily, and I'm gonna tell you, this is what you do in this situation. This is my advice for you. I would say I am going to stay completely still with my hands up. I'm not going to lay down for you to say I wiggled the wrong way. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, however many officers, you can have one of you officers can handcuff me while you keep the gun on me. This isn't complicated. Why are you making this more complicated than it needs to be? I'll just keep my hands there until I'm tired enough, or I'll just lay flat until one of you dumb fuckers will come over here and do your job, but I'm not going to move. That's what you have to do when you're dealing with idiots like this. And this shows the corruption in the police department, that they will, and this extends past the police department, because the DAs, all of these people let this get by. They let this shit happen. They let this guy get off. And we're gonna have CC Mank on coming up soon. So I want to let you guys know about that. For those who are not familiar with CC broke a story about the corruption going on in my hometown, Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas. That I don't know if you guys have heard the big story. Rockefeller has been going in and subpoena a bunch of cases and finding all of this corruption. And granted, we know it goes on, but this is one of the cases where they have them dead to rights. They have the evidence. They have the connections. They know who's doing what, who said what. This has prostitution involved. This has cops covering up murders. This has drug trafficking involved. This has all kinds of stuff.
It sounds like they can't bring it to discovery is what it sounds like, because then they bring down the whole city.
Yeah.
Well, it's coming though. It's coming.
Wow.
It's coming. And this is a huge thing. And I try to reach out to people. We as a staff try to reach out to people. And maybe I wasn't explaining the gravity of the situation. This is a chance where we actually where we can change from these situations of like Kim Potter's horrible training, go out there, kill somebody on recklessness or racism, whichever it be, either one is bad. And then have a court system which is going to give you the most minimal sentence they possibly can. Chris, I'd like for you to get in there. What's some of your thoughts?
All right. Well, I mean, this is a sensitive situation, right? So I'll address the hallway shooting with the cops. One, I remember when that happened. There's nothing you could say about that other than it's fucked up. You know, the kid was clearly scared, and you made the most important point. You had multiple opportunities before you pulled the trigger to close the gap and actually subdue this kid. I mean, you could have ran up on, even if the kid had a gun, you had plenty enough time to close that gap and to jump on top of him, you know, if that was the case. So with that being said, that was straight up execution. And of course, he should have been in jail, or maybe he should have been in jail. Something worse should have happened to him. But, you know, unfortunately, karma does take her time.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say,
that's how it goes.
Universe will get him.
Go ahead. Correct. So that's how that goes. Again, am I surprised at the verdict for the cop? Of course not. We've seen it multiple times, right? Moving to the Dante Wright situation. All right, we got to keep it real, right? They pulled him over. Dude had a warrant. He tried to run. It doesn't make what the officer did. However, you did have a warrant. He probably knew that. Let's keep it a buck. Most times, unless it's like a bench warrant or something like that. But you know, if you've been arrested, or you know, if you in the streets doing dirt, or you know, you and your baby mom or your girlfriend, your wife, you got into altercation. Maybe you didn't know there was a warrant out for you, but
you can even have a warrant for a parking ticket.
You said what?
So, like, if you don't show for your court date on certain things in certain cities for like parking tickets.
Yeah. Correct. You will. That's what I'm saying. So it could be something as minor as that, or it could be something more serious. But at the end of the day, when they say, "Yo, you got a warrant," running from them in that situation is going to do what? You know what you did. Again, it's better off you go to jail, get arrested, get an attorney, fight your case. One, where are you running to? It's the 21st century. What, you think there's not going to be a shit ton of cops out there? You think there's not just a whole bunch of surveillance out there? So, you know, as sad as it is, I mean, we have to look at the fact that he made a bad decision in that moment, scared or not. The moment they say, yo, you got a warrant, dog, put your hand on that steering wheel, stick it out the window, make your hands, you know, available. You'd be alive today. Yeah, you would have probably spent a night or two in jail until you got your bail money up, or maybe you had the bondsman. But at the end of the day, um, I don't want to be the, oh, you just comply guy, but you had a warrant, they caught you, you ran away. What the fuck did you think was going to happen to you? You're already dealing with killers. They killing you for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
You got that in your back pocket. You got to think smarter in these streets. You know what I'm saying? Just like what my parents told me, what your parents told you, what your parents told you. When you're dealing with them people, limit what you say, right? Be respectful. Don't talk back. I mean, we all hate that shit, but sometimes that really is the difference between life and death. So you just really got to be careful. And,
I mean,
they're murderers. They're happy to. They'd be happy to murder us. They're happy to murder us. They're happy to murder us for whatever reason. And we all got that same speech: be polite, be compliant, don't make any moves. Make sure they can see your hands. We've heard this speech numerous times, and you know what? I'll say sometimes there is justice. People get justice, but what? Like I think just this past week, I just saw something get overturned in Florida about the guy who held his hands up with the autistic kid, and it got overturned, and saying that he didn't mean to shoot the black dude with his hands on the ground and with his hands up on the floor. He meant to shoot the autistic kid sitting up with a truck in his hand because he thought the truck was a gun, and it got overturned because of that. The man walked because of that. So.
Wow.
Cops are murderers. Yeah,
Chris,
cops are straight murderers.
Yeah, Chris, I don't want to at all get away from the fact that he fucked up in a lot of ways. Like we know better than to do that. But at the same time, she knew what she was doing too.
Absolutely. Now,
Here, let me say one thing. Signs, I get what you're saying. I hate to be in this situation where I'm defending the military because they do sometimes shoot first, ask questions later. But the military does not do this because you can't get away with this. There's so many rules that we have to follow that it blows my mind that an 18, 19-year-old is far more disciplined than police officers. That it's no comparison. Most of the time when you have this shoot first, ask questions later, a lot of these people are private contractors. But go on ahead, Chris.
So you know that's on his end. On the other side, it goes without being said. Again, there's three of you guys here in the car. Like you could have handled it much different. Again, as Jack said earlier, there's a big fucking difference between your taser and between your pistol. I mean, especially if you're trained, you know there's a difference. You feel the weight. Everything is just different about it. So, with that being said, again. Her sentence is light. I mean, I'm surprised she even got sentenced to begin with. But, you know, she'll be out and then, you know, she'll be on probation or whatever it is. But, you know, it's going to be a walk in the park for her. It's going to be a walk in the park.
She'll be back working somebody's police force and like about
that's the thing, isn't it? They'll go free and they'll be back in another police force doing the exact same thing.
And let me say this too, right? I saw his name come up in the chat. Benjamin Crump, the attorney for the family.
Yeah.
If you see this guy, you know the only goal is to get money in a civil case. He is not at all interested in pursuing criminal charges for these cops or anything. Because the moment he gets the money, it's like, well, you know, hey, on to the next one. He's on his plane off to the next unfortunate
There'll always
incident.
be a next.
I was just going to bring that up as the civil case thing. You nailed it, Chris.
Yeah.
And
there'll always be another one.
Look, that whole network of Crump, Sharpton, and all the rest of those
Lori
other.
Alred.
Yeah, Corey
I'm just
Alred
saying-
too.
I'm just talking about the black folks when it comes
Oh,
to
just the
police
black ones.
shootings.
Okay.
The same similar
Opportunist.
faces that we see all the time. This shit is to make sure justice is not served. It's also to help people psychologically, right? Well, they're never going to go to jail, but at least the family got $22 million. $22 million is not worth my son. Maybe 23 and a half is, but not 22. I mean, I'm being ignorant.
Yeah.
But really, though.
Well, and it was important that you brought that up, because it's not that we don't recognize the Gloria Allreds but as black males, we want to make sure that we're not being hypocritical and not calling out those vultures in our own community, which don't care about getting justice, which only care about getting the payday. And so we just want everybody to know, hey, we don't support that either. We are going to call out when we feel an injustice happens in our community, but we're also going to call that injustice of not getting proper representation to actually get the conviction.
Like
Because
that
that's what I'm
reminded
saying.
me.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Al.
I don't know if it's off topic though. It's kind of on topic. That reminded me of the other news this week or earlier, was that Prince Andrew settled with Virginia Giuffre.
I figure we'll save that for when we get into
that case.
Yeah,
but in so much that the same situation happened, where in all of these cases that are brought up and put into the news, these vulture lawyers will go in and try to get a settlement and will not try to get any justice. And this one happens to be actually connected to the cabal as well. So David Boyce. So it's pretty crazy that the people who are connected to the predators will be, in charge of representing the victims. It's pretty crazy that happens, but it also happened in the Singer case as well. So I've seen it many times, all these vultures trying to get their payday.
Well, I mean, what's the 1%'s protection arm in any nation? Like in America, it's just, I would argue it's much more insanely militarized because of the buyback program that I believe Obama did with the AMRAPs and all that all that hardcore military shit that's being used overseas. Yeah, let's just do a buyback program so that police departments can have rolling tanks, and it's just nuts, dude. It's all nuts.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, like, it's in their class interest for them to get these people off and to show a at least a perceived sense of justice, because it's not one at all. Like, you can't assign a dollar amount to someone's life, but they found a way to do it through civil cases.
Yeah, that's where I'd say the difference between this kind of situation and between anytime it's the elites, it's always a different story, because they're in a completely protected class. So that's different than dealing with marginalized communities, which normally
but that's
always get
pandering
screwed
also.
over.
They're doing a lot of pandering and political positioning and manipulation of people behind the scenes. Like,
you nailed it, because they can stage like the aggressive DA who's actually going to like throw the case. They'll get a DA in there. Like, I've seen this a few times where they'll get a DA in there who talks hard, is really railing it in the media, like how we're going to get justice for this family. You guys have heard these speeches thousands of times. We've seen them televised. It's the exact same fucking speech. And then we all go, okay, so the civil case, that's the one, not the criminal case that we all just saw a crime committed on. It's gaslighting.
If you're lower income, for the most part, and you cannot afford a top of the line lawyer on your own, not this pro bono person who's going to come in, automatically lose the case, and then make his money back in the civil case, then you're not going to get justice for the most part. And that goes for, just like we saw that kid in the hallway, that goes for the Dante Wrights, that goes for the Tony Tempo when he had the kneeling in his back, and that goes for the George Floyd, the kneeling on his neck. All of them all fall into the same category. Now, I mean, there's a racial element which happens in the Black community and brown community, but at this point, the class, issues, you're being treated in the same regard. So, I mean, all of those effects are going on.
like Canada, if we're going into that, like that would be a good segue because the truckers are being treated very, very harshly by the Ottawa police as well right now, and have been targeted. Their bank accounts, depleted, and there's a national security issue now of the protests against the mandates.
Well,
Are we circling to the truckers? Because I have something to say
Yeah,
about that.
let me real quick. Let me just get my last little piece off
Yeah.
regarding this whole thing. There's two things here, right? One, Crump and all these people, they're Freemasons, right?
Yeah.
They just belong.
Yeah, if we're gonna
to-
talk about it, let's talk about it.
Yeah, correct. They just belong to a different sect. They belong to
Well, they're the Prince Hall Freemasons.
correct, the Prince Hall. Thank you. They're the Prince Hall Freemasons.
Yeah.
They're the ones who they're wannabes essentially, right? They want to be Freemasons, but
Yep.
even idiots can be useful, right?
Which for those who don't know, here I'm just interject real quick, but hold your thought, Chris. Well, for those who don't know what I mean by Prince Hall Freemasons, is back in the day, when they first started doing this stuff and started allowing blacks into the secret society, it still was segregated. So they all went through Prince Hall Freemasonry, which that's a lot of these Kappa, Alpha, Deltas, and all that in the black schools. A lot of these people, they go into Prince Hall Freemasonry. So though we think, oh well, no, they're separate, like the Kamalas and all them, they're all working in the same interest. So go on ahead, Chris.
So with that being said, like I said, they're wannabes, as you just described, right?
Mm-hmm.
Moving on from that, the Minnesota police also were trained by who? The Israelis. Okay, they were.
Get us in
we just have to keep
police
it
departments.
They do. They come over here and train them.
It's true.
Correct.
They're trained by the IDF.
They were part of the several cities that took place in the program in which they came here and trained the officers. So with that being said, you understand that these people are Prince Hall Freemasons on this side. The police is a fraternal order of police. That's another group, right? Everybody's doing what the hell they're supposed to be doing within their group, and unfortunately, the people who are not part of that suffer. Dante Wright in this case, and many others. So I just wanted to just throw that out there so people keep in mind that these things, they're not happening just by accident. You see how the Palestinians are treated. I mean, we don't even have to look that far. You see how people like us have been treated here. But now we know that another step is that they're being trained by these people who look at people as subhuman and treat them as such every chance they get.
Yeah.
And that's my piece. My bad.
Well, and that's an important dynamic because when you look at just like the dynamics that we just saw, that was a lot of fear that we've seen in countless videos overseas, where it's the fear and it's just tragic.
I say it reminds me of what you see in the Gaza Strip.
Yeah,
it looks a lot like that. Treating people without compassion. Kicking them. Like I watched a video the other day where I saw a Palestinian man who has the arm, the walking sticks where they're like the arm brace right around the arm and you're holding that. He has two of those and he's trying to use those to walk, and they're knocking them out from under him. Three IDF officers, and then he's on the ground and they're like yanking him around, telling him to get up. Just knocked a handicapped man to the ground and telling him to stand up on his own. I mean, that kind of disconnect in thinking is what is going into a lot of our police training. So I was going to say that. Any other thoughts on this before we move on?
No, I think we can move from that.
Pretty much covered it.
Nastiness to since we're on this nastiness, the last bit of nastiness for the evening And on this topic, I see George Zimmerman just he lost his case against Trayvon's parents. You know, I don't know where. I mean, I didn't pay attention to any of it because that kind of I don't like to admit at times when I get triggered, but seeing his face always makes me react, like, and not in the most positive of ways. You know, you get flashes in your head, you get all these thoughts. You know what I'm saying? It's just not a really good place to be. But I just wanted to say he lost his case, and hopefully he loses other things as well.
Yeah, I was a back at that time. I was a Black Lives Matter protester involved. You know, so
I remember.
I spent a lot of time, you know, hoping and praying for justice for that, and so you know, it touches home thinking about that guy is still just walking around breathing free air. So, yeah, let's go on to the next topic. L, what were you? Yes, exactly, independent. Free the Nico interview, which any of you who are good at figuring out, actually Jack probably is, so I'll probably get with Jack later on. But as far as working out Odyssey and other platforms, I suck at this. So I'm gonna need some help with getting some of these episodes and formatting them onto a backup channel. The reason why Independent put this on there is the Free the Nico interview. They recently gave me a strike on my the What We've Been Thinking channel, and reach out to okay, all right, I'll reach out to you and Reeve, but I need to get. I got tons of episodes which I need to get backed up somehow. And you know, this is one of the interviews which they took down. They still won't explain why, and I got a strike. And they said if I get another strike, as soon as I come back, then I'll have 2 weeks, and just kind of like the situation here, which I don't know if we're out of our 90-day window yet. Hopefully we are. I'm not sure, but I'm waiting on that. Once we're out of that 90-day window, I guess we'll probably end up getting another strike right away, if not getting it before then. Yes,
Absolutely.
it's what we've been. In fact, you know what? I will just pull it up so you guys can see my other channel and know about it. For those who only know this channel, it's what we've been thinking now, because I'm setting it up for more of my friends and colleagues who would like to get into streaming. Also, they can start streaming on there. Also, Jalen, who some of you guys are familiar with. Hopefully, more you guys get more familiar with it. I'm building him up so that eventually he will have his own solo show on there. Also, let's see, home. How do I get there? Okay, that's not what I wanted. My videos. There we go. Your videos. And my computer. Come on. That's not the right one. Well, whatever. I guess it has my other video that's blocked on there too. Yeah, I get in trouble occasionally, for those who don't know. Here, I'll share. This is my other channel. I don't know why I said that way. You guys see this little icon there?
I really wish you would, Kelly.
Good.
And this is just, I don't know, I guess it's showing a mix of views.
I would like another medium for us. That would be great, Kelly.
There we go. This is What We've Been Thinking with Marcus Cage. This is the other channel. My little intro video. And here's some of our latest topics. Talk of the Ages with Jalen Lawson. This is a very good interview I had with Alphabet and Malik. And we talked about Brexit and some British politics. Me and Jalen again here. We had Franco on for an interview. We talked about negativity in the music industry. So on that channel, we talk about stuff which is not the direct, serious political stuff, which we normally do, and then some of my older videos, where it was more straight politics. For those who do remember, when we had our block on here, we went on to we had the political matrix, and we did it on that channel. So that is the channel that I'm talking about. I got a bunch of different videos going all the way back. This is my original channel. Got a, when I had my Young Black Leaders Forum to all the way when I was covering like the 2019 primaries and stuff. So if you're not subscribed to that channel, make sure you get over there, check it out. Said not gay politics. No, I brought up the.
That's exactly why,
gay
Kelly.
Politics.
So that there's some record of what we said out there.
Oh, I didn't hear. What was the comment for Kelly? Let's put it.
No, Kelly was bringing up that she wanted to put us on the radio, put MP3s of what we were saying on the radio, on like her radio station. And then she was like,
What's nice about Odyssey, you can download the full things. You could do that, Kelly. Once these are on Odyssey, you just click download. It'll download an MP4 in most situations, and that MP4 you can just I can either show someone how to pull the MP3 out of it, but essentially you can just play the video without the audio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
gotta
play the video
with the audio.
Yeah. I'm not the tech guy. Believe it or not, I used to be years and years ago when I was like in my 20s. Only like a year ago. But
sometimes I wish I wasn't.
Yes, I've turned into the dad, and I'm growing the dad bod literally as we speak. I feel like that Santa Claus movie, when no matter what he did, he just kept growing. The beard just kept getting longer. He just kept growing all the weight. That's what I feel like right now.
Well, and the way I see it is with the technical stuff, it's like I don't want that burden on someone else, because like I think we're all here to capture and share and relay our knowledge, right? So like whatever we learn, share our life experiences blended with whatever, because we're all experts in many areas. Like I don't believe there's only a certain set of experts. No, I think we can all be that. So yeah, it also makes sense to me, like, because I've always not liked the argument that people do where they say, oh, well, they just need to learn, like someone needs to learn how to do this, or this group needs to learn how to use this platform, and that's why they're messing up. And I'm like, you're putting a burden on someone. Anytime you tell them they have to use a tool, you're putting a burden. I don't care what it is, if it's technical or what. So yeah, that's it's a good balance to not have everyone be like a tech person, because those conversations can get really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like you and Jalen start talking stuff and just fucking you. I was like, I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. Y'all you might as well be speaking Greek.
I think we were talking anime, man.
Speak a little Greek, but you guys.
Jack knows his shit. Jack is a man of he's a jack of all trades, not to be corny, but not Jack got his finger on a bunch of shit.
I mean, I try, man. It's just like I love researching from a standpoint that the research I'm doing now isn't for like a large company. It's all for me. So the research when I say it's all for me, I'm doing it on my own time. My own time's not being used for another company right now. So all that work that I get to do, I get to publish. There's no editor. There's no person saying that I can't say this or that. And I get to work with Shadow, like my freaking brother. So we get to work on stuff together. We get to say what we want, just like this channel. It's more of like a written form of kind of like this channel. It's our conversations that we have put in a written format and fleshed out so that people can understand they're not alone through a lot of this shit.
And that's something which you guys, that's something which I'm partially working on. If the censorship wouldn't have been so bad, you guys would have probably already saw Jack and Shadow doing a lot more of what they do on here. But once we get the Odyssey thing up and running, that's the plan, to have Jack and Shadow be able to really get down to business. So, Jack and Shadow they're technically a part of the political matrix already, but we just haven't, thrown it out there yet, but technically are. Right, Jack?
Yep. Well, and you hit on something key, which is that I'm not sure if how true this is, but isn't there a ban on airing congressional footage or like certain...
I did hear something about that. Yeah.
That would be my main concern, because a lot of the stuff that we cover, because if you just go like Chris, you've said this before too, they do this out in the open. Like there's a process they have to do that they have to inform people. And you've brought this up, Marcus and Ian and Elle and everyone on this panel. And I've seen it because this process in legislation, they call them round tables. Now we saw like a event, the events ones that they did, but not even on that topic. For all this legislation, they round table and they just dead ass say why their excuse that you'll hear in the media will be said during those. But again, like you're right, Marcus, because we'd have to cover that Senate testimony. So that brings up, can you air the clips?
And when we get that up and running, just giving you guys some inside baseball to what we do here on the show. Elle will be in the mix of that also. So look forward to that once we get it all up and running. I want to be able to give you guys some good positive news to look forward to. But yes, Elle, we can circle back to the truckers if you like.
Okay, so I shared in the private chat a couple of articles just to give an overview of where we're at with these protests. One, they're going like not nationwide, international, and it's gotten really crazy in Ottawa.
Hey, Elle, I was gonna say, since you have your VPN, could you do it and then I just bring it up? Because whenever I do it, almost all of these have a subscription thing that they're asking me for, so we can't see the article. Share? Yeah, just say share, and then it'll give me an option to be able to add it.
Okay, hold on. Going up and down. I have a lot of shit. Hold on.
Now let's say, hey, Cryosynth. Oh, same time. Knock on wood. You see what? We've been working together so long that we're almost on the same page most of the time.
So we're talking about the truckers, right? I just
yes.
Okay. I wanted it because it was happening in the chat, and somebody asked, "Is what happened in Canada probably going to happen here in the States?"
Yeah, there's an article. That's funny.
It is.
Yeah. That whole that whole thing with Trudeau freezing accounts, America can do that. Somebody just went over there with it. They can do that here under the Patriot Act. They can do that.
You just have to scroll and then it makes sense. So let me do that.
Yeah, go ahead. You got the
I'm used to reading these fuckers and not doing the cookies.
Hold on one second, Elle. Yona, hey, Yona's in the building. How we doing, Yona?
Hey, Yona.
Yona, what's up, brother?
See you tomorrow, hopefully.
But go ahead.
Night. Ladies' night plug. Lucky Burritos show tomorrow night. I will be on with Hunter, Sabby Sabs, and or Sabby Sabs. Is it Sabs? Sabs. It's Sabs. Sabby Sabs and other people. I can't remember exactly. And Lucky, of course, and Leo maybe. So that'll be really fun again. Back to this. Ottawa police used pepper spray and stun grenades to clear trucker protests. So the police chief says the occupation is over as he vows to clear those still demonstrating against COVID mandates and Trudeau government. Now, we're not going to read this fucking MSM article, but just to give you an overview, that's the headline and the pictures. It's not very good. And then I have, other than that, I can stop that. I have a thread that I shared today of the police chief saying what he said from Twitter, from Marie Oaks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I would like some proof of that.
Yeah, I'll interject into that real quick while you pull that one up, and then I'll share it once you have it, Elle. Mr. Street says truckers are planning a trip to the U.S. Capitol soon. Look it up. Yeah, from what I heard, they are starting at what is that concert? Coachella. Yeah, they're starting Coachella, and they're going to be moving across the country.
And on that note, if you guys need an update on that, I do think if you want a good resource on all this stuff, Del Bigtree does a show every Thursday. You can find a lot of backups on Odyssey. They're planning another rally just like they did with JFK in New York.
DC?
They're planning one. Yeah, I believe they're planning a kickoff event. It's going to be, they had to delay it for 2 weeks. And yeah, so there may be another one. Cyrus sent that one right there.
Mhm.
I believe there's another one after there was planned for March, early March 12th, I think. That's the one, that the Del Bigtree one that Informed Consent Network is involved in. That one got moved back. Just go follow Del Bigtree, I believe, on Twitter to know about that one. I'm saying there's a lot of events going on, so they're starting in California, because there is one it's going to be around Coachella. But if you guys want the update on the Del Bigtree one, follow I believe ICANN on Twitter, and just follow him. But there should be updates on that.
Did you say
There you
Eastbound Down, Locked and Loaded? It's crazy because I've been watching that lately.
Oh yeah, I watched
Del-
that when it was on.
Del does he does a lot of good work. You know,
He's a
know,
misinformation merchant. We have
He's a
to
what?
say that, right? We have
You
to say
say-
he's a misinformation merchant,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Oh,
yeah,
he's definitely limited to
that
hang out.
guy. I mean,
I listen to Bill Gates.
you want to hear some
on
crazy
TikTok.
conspiracy
Yeah,
theory
that's
guy,
right.
then
Del,
go
I'm
listen
sorry.
to Big
He
Dale.
doesn't know what he's talking about, but you should. He doesn't know what he's talking about, but you should listen to him just to hear how wrong he is.
Yeah. So you
Let's-
hear how
let's-
wrong, because he's
Fair
wrong
enough.
about
His
everything he's saying.
Yeah, well, and it was more because I was confused on why they moved that event back 2 weeks, but just to make sure that people understood, if they're going to the events, to know who's throwing it, and exactly.
Oh, go on ahead, El.
Okay, so looking at that, so this is the thread that I saw today from Marie Oakes, and she said that he said the protesters were aggressive with the officers, and that is why they needed to use horses yesterday, and why police had batons today. And then you scroll down, and it says that today they have arrested 47 people, bringing arrest to over 170 people in the last 2 days. And then he says police are not going to stop all protesters till all protesters have left Ottawa. And then he says this. Can we play it? I don't know if we can play it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just click the sound
Every
off.
person supporting this effort is proud to be here. Police have a vital role in our democracy, and this operation shows our institutions' commitment and ability to maintain a lawful society. But we could not do this without the
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Cool. Oh, sorry. It's because my speakers and everything.
support
Okay,
of the
yeah,
community that we serve. All levels of government, the federal, every person supporting this effort is proud to be here.
Okay, we circled back. Sorry about that. And then we go back down. Go.
Another question here that I really need, that's important, that I want to squeeze in here is, you talk about the professionalism of police, but with respect, sir, can you explain what appears to be excessive force by police officers when a protester is arrested? There is multiple videos on social media showing police delivering blows with their knee and their fists while the protesters are down. Is this necessary?
So I haven't specifically seen the videos you're talking about, but what I can advise you is we do have mechanisms to review all of the arrests. We will absolutely be involved in reviewing arrests to make sure that the lawful amount of force was used as we executed our mission. We've been very clear from the beginning, as this has escalated and as protesters have not heeded the urging, the warnings, and then the direction to leave our streets, that we would need to escalate in our tactics. That is what you're seeing us engaged in, to ultimately remove people who are refusing to leave.
Another question here that I really...
Okay, and then I'm really bad at the circle back. Okay, so then the next one, it's more
Could you
interesting.
tell us what other methods that you used today to try and disperse crowds that we didn't see yesterday? It sounded like there was other sort of sonic or other sort of sound things that were done today that had been in the past. And what else?
Yeah, we've been pretty clear from the beginning. We're actually not going to discuss the tactics we use. One of the things that you've seen that we've been engaged in
No,
is we're monitoring. We've learned from previous
I think the video tells
demonstrations.
us.
We're
Talk about
monitoring.
Are they illegal or what?
One of the
We're
tactics
not
that
gonna discuss
protesters and
them.
demonstrators are using is misinformation.
Oh, it's
I heard-
misinformation. It's
Is
always
inaccurate.
Big
misinformation.
net price
information that
energy from
misleads the
that
public.
guy.
We're
Right.
actively
He gets
tweeting
worse.
and providing information out through social media and other media mechanisms
You can't
in
even
order
get the
to be
words
able to
out.
try and get accurate, factual information around what is going on within the protest without actually divulging any police tactics.
And just speaking of
Okay, Kurt. Okay, sure. The next one gets more interesting.
entered the crowd. Ottawa police had said that a bicycle was thrown at the feet of a horse, but there are conflicting reports online about that. Can you specifically tell us what happened and what happened to the civilian and the horse?
So thank you. That when you talk about misinformation, that's specifically one of the demonstrations for us of that. What happened is the crowd was escalating around the police. There was tension that was continuing to escalate between our public order unit members and the demonstrators on the line that was resulting in increased aggression by the demonstrators. Members of the mounted public order unit rode through the crowd that created separation and lowered the temperature and circumstances that existed there so as not to escalate force. Almost immediately, there was tweets, there was pictures that had been photoshopped out on social media that indicated people had died as a result of that. The horses had run over somebody with a walker in the crowd. What I can indicate is there was 2 members of the protesters who did collide with the horses. They fell down.
They collided.
Immediately got back up and started to again engage in their protest and demonstration activity.
You know, when you collide
that is one
into
of the
horses.
circumstances where, as we monitor it, we're
I'll
identifying
just add a note. I saw when it happened. They rode the horses
providing
right for those
accurate, real
people.
information about
Yeah.
what is occurring on the ground.
Sorry, but what was a bike actually thrown at a horse? Because there are images online that perhaps it was someone else's electronic wheelchair.
So we'll have to get more specific information on that for you, and I'll be able to provide more in coming days.
Okay, sir.
Well,
And
notice what he did there.
Yeah.
Before you play this, what he did there, she asked him if the bike was thrown. He went into misinformation, all these other things. And then when it was asked again about the bike, then he said, well, I have to look into it. So he said misinformation. That's
Right.
one of the examples of the misinformation. But you didn't dispute what was said. And the fact that the
That's
officer
wild.
said
Right.
a bike was thrown.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, people.
I said, yeah.
This is why
that
we
was
gotta
like he's,
point that out,
slow
Marcus.
down
I mean,
and
Yeah.
watch
he's
these people.
channeling net price right there. I'm like, he's not giving you anything. He's saying something, and then he's declaring
it's a
that
fit-
because he said something, that's the information. That information is valid.
Well,
and
what
it
he
gave you
did
something,
is
but he didn't.
he just did a
anything.
masterful dodge. That's what he
Yeah.
did.
Matrix level dodge.
Mm-hmm.
That was some Agent Smith shit right there.
Yeah.
Most people did not catch this at all. That's the reason why
Yeah.
when we watch these people, sometimes
I didn't catch
go
it.
through
They
it, go
tell on
through
themselves.
it once or twice. Listen to it again because we're looking for the overhanded outright lie. We missed the little lies and deflections. But go ahead.
And the goalpost moving, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, in the
Oh, yeah.
Goalpost movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It gets even more crazy.
Erica Ibrahim, the Canadian Press. I'm wondering what your message is to protesters and Canadians more broadly who might be upset and angry with images being published of police hitting protesters with batons and other types of force. There are images of some people or some police striking crowd members with batons.
Not
who were
people,
retreating
police.
and not being aggressive toward them. There were media in the crowds that have witnessed and reported on this. I'm wondering what you would say to those who may be concerned by that.
As I indicated earlier, we will have the opportunity to review all of those files. There are complaint mechanisms for people to enter into if they feel that there is excessive use of force by members of our police service. What I will also say is we have been here for 3 weeks. I have been at this podium for the last 5 days, imploring people to leave, asking them to get out of our streets. This occupation is over. We have advised them that if they peacefully leave, they may go home. That still exists. We also indicated that we would escalate and forcefully remove people from the streets if they did not comply. Some of that is what you're seeing. So I will stand here today again and say, this demonstration is over. Go home. If you don't go home, we will remove you from the streets.
That sounds nice. And then
It's like
And
a
then he says
preview
this-
for America.
Exactly.
And he has to go even further than that, of course.
So I was in the crowd yesterday. I was unfortunately hit with some pepper spray. I just have a question. There's some video cameras that the police are using, and some news outlets are reporting that you're gathering intelligence with those cameras. Can you elaborate, like, if the protesters at this point, retreat and go home, are they going to be getting sort of repercussions down the road? Or are you going to be sort of actively pursuing the people that you've been sort of documenting and filming who are still out
Remember,
there
this is after you just told
protesting? What
people
are
to
your
report it
plans
if they were
after
hit.
this, after the protest is over?
Thank you. It's a great question. And the simple answer is yes. If you are involved in this protest, we will
Jesus.
actively look to identify you.
So he
and
wants you to
follow up
report
with
it if police
financial sanctions
abuse,
and
but
criminal
they're
charges.
also going to follow you the rest of your life.
This
Yeah.
investigation will go on for months to
Oh
come.
my
It has many, many different streams, both from a federal financial level, from a provincial licensing level, from a criminal code level, from a municipal breach of court order, breach of court injunction level. It will be a complicated and time-consuming investigation that will go on for a period of time. You have my commitment that that investigation will continue, and we will hold people accountable for taking our streets over.
Can I just ask one more question?
This includes
No, see,
the media availability.
All right, dude.
okay.
So
No,
that's
I
the
wanted
whole
to. I wanted to
event.
answer. I want to answer Crowell's question. Do you remember in America when the police were like dancing with the protesters and kneeling with the protesters, and then once the sun went down, the violent stuff started happening. The you need to go home stuff started happening. But in the daytime, they were cool. They were dancing and they were kneeling and they were like giving free interviews to the protesters and everything.
I just realized that's counterintelligence. That's not just COINTELPRO type stuff, but that's stuff that Marcus, you remember, like the Iraq surges. You remember the videos, and that's the exact same technique, man. And I think you even brought that up before.
Remember, Jack, you asked a question, Jack, earlier. I don't know if you remember when he talked about they talked about different things that they were using to disperse the crowds. I don't know if you guys remember. I did a video talking about this stuff not that long ago. It was called.
It was in the weapons video, Marcus. The sonic tool. Because I heard it go off.
You brought it up. I remember that.
Yeah, you brought this stuff up.
I'll bring it up because I told people about this stuff. I told people this stuff was going to start being used, and
he slid it in real slick. Like, oh, we use sonic technology to disperse the crowd. I was like, okay.
Let's see.
Allowing users to send messages over longer distances than is normally possible with loudspeakers. Secondly, it is also capable of being used as a so-called sonic weapon for riot control, crowd dispersion, or other situations that require a non-lethal solution, hostile action. The taser shockwave is a large...
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
So the sound it made, if it was what I heard on the stream, is that the audio cut out like a subwoofer, like dropping its low end, like is what I heard, and then I saw the camera shake, and then the crowd was like holding their ears a little bit. Like I got to go back through the footage, but it was weird as fuck.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, I didn't go in detail because I could have went more and more into that video. There's a lot. I mean, let me see how many views this video has. 98 views. You guys want to know what the hell is going on and what they're using against you when you want to protest and stuff? Go back and look at this video. And this is a short synopsis that I put in. And maybe, what is it? Maybe, look at how long that video is.
Well, that's true, El.
30 minutes. It's 30 minutes. It's not going to kill
and the
most
person
of you.
with the
Go
full
check it
face
out.
tactical baklava is usually the agent provocateur. Also, look at the boots.
Mm-hmm.
So what people don't understand is they're like, you know what? What'll happen is we're going to push back and we just need more protests. And all they're doing right now is they're trying to see how long they can get away with some of the stuff before people start pushing over the edge. And then they're waiting for somebody to say, you know what? fuck these cops and attack the cops so they can have the provocation to use the higher level shit they haven't started using yet.
Yeah, and if they don't get it naturally, just like you said, Marcus, just if they don't get it, they'll use agent provocateurs. Yeah, they'll false flag it.
Well,
Yeah.
well, think about we all saw the pallets of bricks just showing up randomly.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
remember.
conveniently, and
It
protesters
just
were pointing it out.
conveniently showed up. Like,
Look,
just dropped them.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's a psychological operation, but it's not meant for people like us, right?
Nope.
It's
No.
It's meant for what my teacher used to say in school, the masses are asses. And that has largely held true. It's meant for the other people, the people who look at things and they're just like, oh, it's a Nazi flag. They must be Nazis. Instead of thinking like they put a single truck with a Nazi flag in front of a government building on a Saturday morning.
Here's some more context.
That you got a picture of that morning.
Wasn't it one of Trudeau's photographers?
Hold on. I got to give you the context to that. I got to give you context to that because, shit, if I can find it in my Twitter feed, I tweeted it out about this very thing in detail, and somebody was literally bringing up what happened. Somebody who was actually there, able to discuss what was going on in that situation. Let's see if I can find it. Sorry about all the noise in the background. Oh, here it is. Hold on a sec. Let me pause this and share it. Because there's more context to it than most people even know. Some people think, oh, it's a false flag, it's a this, it's a that. You know, let me share what somebody who was there literally said was going on. Because the person didn't just show up and show the flag and just scream and holler. They actually were saying something. So, hold on one second. Oh, shoot. Hold on.
Just to kill the silence. But I see Cryo sent this comment of whether or not it's planned. People are totally willing to comply. That's again, that's the problem. These psyops are very effective. They've been working for long before any of us were even conceived. Right? Go ahead, E.
No, I mean that whole thing with Canada and the convoy. People don't seem to realize that there were already protests happening before Canada ever even happened. There were trucker protests happening previously all over the world. The only reason why it's ramping up now.
Sorry about that, everybody. I'm back.
It's because it's because that's a preview. Canada is a preview of what's actually going to happen.
Show you guys this.
Once it
Listen
starts
to
moving
this interview
forward.
here.
But the protests were everywhere. They were
Hey
happening.
man, come here. Come here, my man. So the media says there's racism here. Is there racism?
Oh yeah, I saw this, Marcus. He was saying he was
It's funny that you ran into me of all people.
Yeah.
Okay. I was here the first day, Ground Zero. I actually spoke on stage. I actually saw the guy with a swastika flag.
So it was a real thing.
It was a real thing. But this is what they didn't tell you. He was going around with the flag saying, "Is this what you want for our country?
Really?
This is what Trudeau is going to turn our flag into if we allow this draconian fascism to continue. Is this what you want the Maple Leaf to be replaced by? This is what we're heading to, people." And he was speaking with a European accent. So I'm thinking that he came from a country that knows about fascism because we don't know it. We're just oblivious to it. And we don't see the slow incremental movements that they're making towards this total.
Dude, it's spot on, man.
I don't know even what to call it. It's got so many labels. We know what it is. It's a push towards this new world order of total submission and control.
What's up, Glory?
Stripping citizens of their rights, stripping them of their firearms, stripping us of our dignity, stripping us of our fundamental freedoms. And you take a look at it. You've got this thing that's called the Charter of Rights, and we can talk about how sections 2, 3, 4, 7 travel. I have the right to travel in this country as a Canadian citizen that was born on University Avenue, whose sister is the head of a big branch of the military. But I can't do that because I have decided because of my heart issues to not get vaccinated. I can't travel. I can't represent this country in track and field, which is what I do, which is my thing, because of these measures. And this is the thing, when I said to Trudeau when I was on the stage, come out and talk to us. You think we were going to hurt you when we got our children here? You know what I'm saying? And okay, there's so many things I can tell you, but I can tell you the greatest travesty that's happened here. The topic has given them rise to fail an opportunity here. The opportunity to show the world what Canadians are really about. You know, because of these vaccines and mandates, yes, that's what drew us together. But when you're
now, that's what I wanted to show you, everyone, because I guarantee you nobody heard that story. And I saw Mariana's
first time I heard
it. That's why you guys come here to shows like the Political Matrix, because we're going to bring that stuff up. I see you there. Glory, 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 Jones. So pumped up for tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. But these are the things they do not talk about. And because it's easy and convenient. And, well, some could say it's lazy journalism. But it's not lazy. This is intentional. They don't want to talk about why these things happen. They don't want to. Now, do I think the guy should have used it? No, because this is what happens. Now, if he would have been able to get to the microphone and he was able to talk first and then say, do we want our nation becoming this? Then that message would have been a lot more clear. And that's what, partially on our fault sometimes when we're on our messaging, that we have to go out and think that we're dealing with dishonest people who will twist things. Mm-hmm. And we're also dealing with a very stupid fucking electorate who get into their tribal corners. And I'm not dealing with somebody who's a conservative. And so conservative is a secret telltale to conservative means a racist in their mind.
Yep.
When Trump I'm like, do you realize we're dealing with a president who literally used to say the hard R on the Senate floor? You realize that, right?
Strong Thurmond's good friend.
Yeah, Strong Thurmond's good friend. You realize that this guy's done more damage to the black community in his 50 years in office.
Oh yeah, wants a strong Republican Party, believes in the strong
and segregation.
I mean, even the stuff which he's done besides the segregation stuff's even worse. Because you know what? There's an argument to make, honestly, that with some of the segregation, things actually worked out a little bit better for the black community. So, I mean, sadly enough, if it wouldn't have been for all the massacres, which we're going to talk about on my show tomorrow, but the stuff which he did is the banking laws which he did, the crack cocaine and stuff, the stuff which he did with Iran-Contra, the crime bill. I mean, we just go down the list of all.
I lived in the communities he redlined. I saw it. Exactly. Like you would literally 1 block away, you would see a house that was subdivided into a mansion, and then you literally dead ass the next block, it's a row house, and then something else where they just tear down the building, they put them into units. Whereas literally there's an entire area that's encircled, has their own police department that's separate from any other group that can do whatever the fuck they want, have their own rules even on who can park in front of their shit. Like that's the kind of shit. It's insane.
Right here. Obama admitted that he was a moderate Republican on camera. This is what I want to admit to mostly everybody.
Right. Great point.
There's basically only been one president that could even be pseudo considered to the left, and that was FDR. And you want to know why he did it? He didn't do it because he was this great populist. He did it because the country was literally falling the fuck apart, and he didn't have a choice. Yeah, that's why he did a lot of it. And then he still say, you know what? I'm still not extending these rights out to black people. So that, that's just another footnote. But go ahead, Jack.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's such a great point, because that's the way, like, the lionization of FDR is always weird to me, because it was like at best concessions and at most realistic. It was that that nation had him by the balls in so many aspects, but at the same time, he was there to keep a life support system on capitalism, keep it going, but make the concessions around the edges. Because if you look at Wallace, what Wallace was saying, his running mate that he backstabbed. If you guys watch it, Oliver Stone's Untold History of the United States, based off the book, it's amazing. But it goes over that delegation
on
DNC.
Showtime, right?
I believe
Was it
I believe it's on Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix.
Maybe
Oh,
on-
okay. I think.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it premiered. I think that premiered on Showtime. But yeah, that's the one.
Oh, did it? Cool. Yeah, it's great because it covers that convention. And when you hear Wallace talking, you'll understand exactly what I say. Not George Wallace, Henry Wallace, right?
Yeah, Henry
and then
Wallace. Yeah,
Henry.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, we're not
Exactly,
talking about
Lord.
George Wallace. We're not talking George Wallace.
No, not George Wallace.
Could we circle back to global events in terms of
Yeah.
like what they're viewing this as?
Well, first,
like how
first,
they view.
well, first, before we skip to that, we need to go into.
Well, it's all
Trudeau.
related, so
Yeah. But while we're still in Canada, let's talk about Trudeau first, and then we.
That's
can
what I'm
go.
talking about. It's a Canada thing, like.
Yeah, I want to say, with the Trudeau, all of these emergency powers, which he just did. Now, a lot of people don't realize why that's significant. This isn't the first time Trudeau has used any kind of emergency issues. It seems like Trudeau often uses every situation as an emergency. And it further pushes the powers further and further and further, with all the what Elle brought up in the beginning of the show, talking about how they can cancel insurance, how they can take your trucks, how they're literally getting to the point where they're like, we will even take your dogs.
Mm-hmm.
They're hitting you in every possible way they can. So I guess, I said that little, oh yeah. And on top of that, you had I'm not sure what they call their elected officials, but he literally called a Jewish woman a Nazi or Nazi supporter. That's how far these people are getting with not understanding the true dynamics or what are going on in this strike. And then another thing you guys have to tell me.
Bergen?
What was that?
He talking about Bergen? Candace Bergen? Not that one, but the other one?
Might have been her. I'm not sure.
Because she was the one who was on the floor, like.
Yeah. That was her then. And what these people are not realizing, what you're trying to tell me now is, if all of these people who support the protests are all just blatant racists, then what you're telling me is Canada is far more racist than the United States, or far more blatantly racist than the United States. Now, I know nobody is dumb enough to believe that.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say the people who were the police were encroaching on, that they were trying to kettle, when they all sat down, and you know what they were shouting at the police? Love, peace, love, peace, love, peace. Yeah, that's real racist shit right there. And again, they were saying freedom for all people. They were important to say all, because they said, you go to and watch the footage of people on the street hugging. You see bouncy, like someone made a great point. It was like, yeah, we're such terrorists with our bouncy castles.
Yes.
It's such an occupation of bouncy castles.
And with their kids out there too.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's so dangerous. Our kids are out there jumping in bouncy castles, y'all.
Somebody said this earlier today. I don't want to call. I'm trying to be peaceful, so I don't want people to get all ticked off at me. Well, at least not for now. I'm trying to be on my best behavior so they don't give me a strike on this channel too. But sometimes people mass report you just to get you taken down. But somebody made a claim I heard earlier today on a panel, and they start going into, well, the police treat black protesters this way, so why aren't they treating them this way? So I don't support them because they're not getting treated the way we get treated. You can't think in such
one-dimensional terms.
It's an absence of nuance at all. I think it's fair? Do I think it's fair that they do that to black protesters? No, but you shouldn't advocate for somebody to do fucked up shit because fucked up shit doesn't happen to them. It's a
fetishization of state violence.
That's exactly
is what I'm saying.
want.
Yeah, they want the division. They want the divide.
You versus
they're
me.
angry, so they want to see the police, the state, essentially take it out on someone else. It's kind of weird. I saw it throughout the chats when I was watching live stream.
Well, Glory knows his Glory was on our panel, but
Well,
if you guys watch it on Rockfin, you'll know exactly who I was talking to.
Marcus,
talking about.
I'm at
but
the watch
Marcus,
that.
at the same time, Marcus, whoever you're referring to and those who may think similarly, remember, they're just really realizing within the last, I would say, 2 years at the very least, maybe 3 at best. They're really realizing, like, holy shit, the Democratic Party really isn't the party for me, for us, for people, and they're
So
not at the
basically,
point you are.
what you're
So
saying
I'm
is
just saying,
basically politically, I know they're where we were a couple of years ago.
yeah, for the most part,
We'll just
and
say
again,
that.
I don't want to,
I'm
because
not
I
trying. I'm
understand.
not trying to beat them up at all. Not trying to beat them
Yeah,
up
that's all.
rather than getting pissed. But I'm just saying that some of the stuff which I hear some of these people saying, though well intentioned, though passionate, I have already been there. I have realized the errors of those different things, and it's time for you to. I mean, because how this political thing is moving right now. The masses of the so-called left are so far behind on understanding what the fuck is going on. It's ridiculous to me. It should be embarrassing, honestly, how far behind some people are.
They're
That's just
picking up on stuff you
I'm
were
not trying to be
saying.
insulting. Sorry,
I
I'm not
agree.
trying to be
No,
insulting.
because they're picking up on stuff you were saying like years ago.
What do we got here? Oh, we're all over the place. I
Is
thought we
this
were going
Kasparian
into.
at the Munich Security Conference?
Wait,
Well, you
where
want?
the
I
hell
know
is it?
Bell wanted to bring it up, so
Yeah,
I
Who'd you
don't think
put
I
this
did the
on the
right one.
screen?
Hold on. Let me
yeah. I
fix
was like, I said, we're all over the place. I thought we were still on the
No,
on
it's
to the
the
international
same subject.
truckers.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh gosh. If you listen to what they're saying, then you'll see that it's very much the same subject. I'm trying to find day one. There we go. So there. So basically, at the at the Munich Security Conference, which we've never heard about, a lot of us until now. These globalist fucks were invited to Munich to talk shit about us behind our back and in front of our face on their little channel. And this is the actual clip. And this is going to be the part where they talk about the trucker thing with Bill Gates right next to this bitch. This woman named Melanie, whatever the fuck her French name is, Jolie, who is a former parliament in Canada. Like, she had a parliament position, but now she's the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Canada. So she joined for the panel discussion, which was about human security and global order. All of these motherfucking conversations are about global order. And it's called Get Well Soon, Finding a Way Out of the Pandemic. And of course, they end up mentioning Trudeau and the emergency powers and the whole protests in Canada. So if we can go ahead and play that clip. I think this is the right one. It's not very long, but it'll give you a view of how they think of us, for a counterpoint.
Because that's a deep concern to many in the West, that it seems as if your prime minister does not have a handle on the situation.
Well, first and foremost, I think we can be proud of Canadians that have decided to get a vaccine, and we're now at a level of 80%. For all the population of Canada's kids 5 years old and up.
I choked on something, sorry.
And also, I think that we're now starting the third year of the pandemic. People are tired, exasperated. In French, there's a saying where I come from in Canada, which we say people are tanné, they're fed up. And, it is a Nordic country. And January and February are harsh months. And so at this point, definitely the mental health of Canadians is something that I have in mind and that we have in mind. Meanwhile, there's a right for peaceful protest in Canada.
There's a right for it.
And we obviously want to make sure that right is upheld, but we're past that at this point. And our biggest concern, and my biggest concern as Foreign Affairs Minister, is the foreign interference that is happening in the convoy we're seeing in Canada right now. The disinformation campaign, where it comes from, the financing of it, where it comes from.
So
and
concerned.
so we know that
we know who
obviously
she's talking about
there
there.
are Canadians that have gone and protested in a peaceful manner, but there are also within the truckers' convoy some elements that are extremely preoccupying, and that led to also criminal charges, including particularly at the Coutts border between the US and Canada, where there were criminal charges laid up and also arms that were seized.
Do you believe that Donald Trump specifically has a role in what's happening in Canada?
Wow.
Listen, as
Why?
former First Minister, I won't point out somebody in particular,
I
but we
just
know
love
that there's
that.
foreign interference, and that's why also
This
we
is
decided to
condescending
go
as
ahead.
fuck.
I know.
and,
Why are you?
use
Why
for the
did
first
you
time in our
punish? Why did you
country,
punish
the
yourself like this,
Emergencies
Elle?
Act,
I don't understand.
which is
I watched many
why
important
are you?
legislation that at the same
I mean,
time
that's
gives
just pure
yes
punishment.
authority to the government to act through its executive order, but at the same time that
Just
needs
straight
support from Parliament,
lying.
and that provides also for a mandatory public hearing after its use. So we know that everything we're doing right now will be under the scrutiny of a public hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was basically the clip with that woman, whom I never heard of before, who had to get her 2 cents in about the protests. And she's one of many who mentioned it and talked about the whole situation there. But mainly the main topic was vaccinations, obviously, because this is about the pandemic and everything. And that's where you saw you guys probably heard about the part with Bill Gates and him talking about the next time, because that was pretty illuminating, but not really surprising because he says this shit all the time.
I
And
knew
he has
once
a
he
book
wasn't.
to sell.
Wait, I knew he wasn't. I knew if you're gonna talk about Bill Gates, I knew he once he didn't get what he really wanted, he was gonna drop the vaccine thing. Remember, he was real big on the vaccine push, and then all of a sudden, when he didn't get what he really
said
wanted,
he says later we'll never get to 70% vaccinated in every country, that's a lofty goal because of vaccine hesitancy and misinformation and blah, 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 blah. Same
Yeah,
shit.
from the CDC and FDA.
Yeah, exactly. He actually says that we trusted politicians. And no, okay, he said that you couldn't trust politicians, but the CDC is what you could trust. I'm like, this dude's on a different planet. Like, the problem was the politicians were pushing this stuff,
it's
not
just
the
all.
people
I'm telling
behind
you, it
the
was
scenes
all a
who were lying all the time.
distraction, and
I mean,
It's
they're
like
all
putting
lying.
safe
But
and
like,
effective on a
wasn't his real
flamethrower
goal.
because you're technically accurate if you put safe and effective on a flamethrower. It's effective at
Right.
death.
Allegedly. So here's
It's safe to the operator, not necessarily the person getting burned by it.
Here's the whole thing in context of that clip that's going around with him talking about the next pandemic. Here you go.
Joining us a little bit later on in the program. He's been held up. He's on his way from Brussels, and as soon as he gets here, we'll go to him for a few minutes for a bit of a scene setter.
It doesn't matter who he's talking about, but it's Tedros.
Actually,
I thought we were going to talk about the truckers
from Mr. Gates, because this is.
Well, I'm
I know, a
moving
topic
over
that
to
you've spoken
Bill.
on
I mean, I
again and
get the
again.
point of
We're ahead of the
why you
curve
wanted to bring up that
prior to
part
the
in
beginning
regards
of
to
this
Trudeau.
pandemic.
Okay.
No, I mean, I get that part. I thought you were going to go in the commentary.
I thought
after
we were going to
heard
go
that
into
point.
the other. I thought we were going to go into some of the other trucker movements around the world before we went on to Bill, which is another subject.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably need to try to stay succinct instead of bouncing around so much.
Oh, damn. I was going to bounce to the Dow.
I thought we were done.
Yeah, I mean, well, we didn't finish up talking about the truckers. I mean, because we got.
No, I mean, I got Elle's point when she brought in.
Yeah, but we got the freedom movements, which are moving into Israel, Italy, Australia. It has had a big giant one too. So I just wanted to, I guess I'll throw that out there. There are protests going on in a bunch of other places. All right, now you can skip to Bill Gates.
You don't have to do that. Like, I got the DuckDuckGo or whatever of that. It's going global and everything.
If you got 2 minutes.
No, we're getting. Well, no, you can go on ahead, Jack. But I don't.
Oh yeah,
I just don't. I want us to be able to get to everything.
Yeah. I'm just going to read from the Tao real quick because I think this is a great passage. It's verse 46 for anyone who has a copy of the Tao Te Ching. This just goes into like what we're kind of talking about with about fear. So when a country is in harmony with the Tao, the factories makes trucks and tractors. When a country goes counter to the Tao, warheads are stockpiled outside the cities. There's no greater illusion than fear, no greater wrong than having to prepare to defend yourself, no greater misfortune than having an enemy. Whoever can see through all fear will always be safe. That's it.
No, you're good. That was a good ad there, Jack. Go on ahead, El.
It's okay. I found something in here. The opinion article was hilarious because it was called, what is it called? From, it was a while ago, Free Detroit Press or something. But it said, why Ottawa's truck protests should worry Washington and even Moscow. Because they're trying to like put it together. That's what I was saying. It's like they're trying to equate the Russian invasion thing with the Ottawa thing. Like they're literally trying to make that the same. It's pretty crazy. This is one of those where you have to get a subscription and shit. But like, just trust me that that's some bullshit right there. But
You know, I
now they're leaving
I don't
and
want
they
to
can't
be
leave
the I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but you know they got people to believe that crack was being manufactured in inner cities throughout the United States, and that they needed to lock up a whole bunch of Negroes for selling and doing crack. I'm not surprised that they're able to pull the wool over people's eyes still. You know what I'm saying? That's
Well, they're talking to each other a lot. Like, it's not even like they're talking to us. They're talking about us to each other and about what they're going to do to us, which is crazy.
Well, that's what they've realized, that they've reached a point to where enough of the population is going to believe them. So now they can step from behind the curtain and they can talk about these things freely. And you can turn around and use these very same clips. You can name drop all of these people and show them to your neighbor, your cousin, your dad, your mom, your coworkers, etc., and say, hey, this is what they have planned. It's at the point now where they're like, no, I don't believe what you're saying. And it's like, I didn't say that. They did. So they know what they're doing. They don't have to hide as much as they used to. Maybe they have to hide on some of the more on some of the nastier things they have to lie about. But lying about Ukraine, no problem. Lying about Nazis at a trucker protest in Canada, it's easy to do. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. Is there probably some kind of money from some dark money source that are helping those guys stay there? Because again, if you're having a if all those people are real working class, I just read Mr. Street's comment. It threw me off. What? You said crack wasn't invented in the hood? Exactly, Street. But at the end of the day, there is some money funding some of these people. It's not just GoFundMe. Like, look, I don't know about you guys. I can't be out of work 3 weeks. I just can't. I got kids to feed. I didn't see you. Never mind, I'm going to my big rap. But anyway, there's a lot of people who can't be out of work that long, right? There's money coming in, and it's not
that's why we don't have protests in the States, because we can't afford to do that. A lot of these other countries, they're not in the same shoes we are.
Correct. So before we call everybody there a saint, just look, there's going to be some bad elements everywhere. At the end of the day, though, if it is the powerless challenging the power structure, you should at the very least not get in their way if you're not going to support them. You should not be snitching on them. You should not be calling the police and oh my God, bust their ass. lock them up, take their trucks, take their money. That shouldn't happen. You know, that's all I just really wanted to say about that. Go ahead, El.
Well, if this article is an indication that, you know, they're kind of trying to ramp up the like rhetoric that it's kind of like January 6th all over again. They mentioned that in that conference later on, but oh, do you think this is like January 6th? And she's like, no, this is a different country, different politics, blah, blah, blah. So basically they're getting ready for the trucker protests here, and they're already making it about the Capitol. See, like Capitol Police. We got to have the Capitol Police again, you know, those saviors, those wonderful people. The law enforcement agencies across the national capital region are aware of plans for a series of truck convoys arriving in Washington, D.C. around the time of the State of the Union, said U.S. Capitol Police in a statement Friday. As with any demonstration, the USCP will facilitate lawful First Amendment activity. The USCP is closely coordinating with local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, including DC's Metropolitan Police Department, the United States Park Police, the United States Secret Service, and other allied agencies to include the DC National Guard, of course. Got to have them involved. So this is all from rollcall.com. That's the original source here. But yeah, then they talk about the protests and the arrests and stuff. But they're getting ready here. They're getting ready for the invasion while they get ready for the fake invasion in Russia. So these protests are happening all over the world, and like Canberra, someone said in the chat, and New Zealand, a lot of different places, and like different parliaments and stuff like that, and just pissing off everyone. It's good to piss off Jacinda. I love when people piss her off. She just gets so shaky about it. They like targeted her once and like were like mean to her, and she was like, I hate all protests. Yeah, protests. I forgot how she talks. Protests, whatever she says. But she just, you know, it's not the right kind of protest, so they can't support it.
Okay, I thought you were going to go into the Bill Gates.
Oh, I'm able to do that. Okay. Oh yeah, because this clip was going around of him saying stuff about the next pandemic. Like I said, is that day one? Yes. And so I wanted to get back to that real quick. Just squash those rumors. Not rumors, but like just get ahead of the fact checkers, because I'm sort of sure the fact checkers are like, he's not talking about the next pandemic, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't. Yeah, but he's like selling a book called Preventing the Next Pandemic. And he smiles a lot in this as usual. He's just so creepy. He's just a creepy creep. And he's a good friend of mine. If you see my avatar, you know we're great pals. And he's a good friend of my late pal, Jean-Luc Brunel. No, he's not, but I am. So shout out to Jean-Luc Brunel in the grave. All right, here we go.
Where would you assess where we are today in beating COVID-19?
Well, sadly, the virus itself, particularly the variant called Omicron, is a type of vaccine. That is, it creates both B cell and T cell immunity. And it's done a better job of getting out to the world population than we have with vaccines. If you do surveys in African countries, you get well over 80% of people have been exposed either to the vaccine or to various variants. And so, what that does is it means the chances.
Oh, run that back about 5 seconds or 10 seconds now, please.
5 seconds. Let me see if I can. Yeah, 21.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
he gets here. We'll go to him for a few minutes for a bit of a scene setter. But I wanted to kick off actually.
She was mentioning
and get a bit of
Tedros
scene
from
setter
the
from
WHO.
Mr. Gates, because this is, I know, a topic that you've spoken on again and again. You were ahead of the curve prior to the beginning of this pandemic. Where would you assess where we are today
Ahead of the curve.
in beating COVID-19?
Well, sadly, the virus itself,
Sadly,
he says,
the variant
for him,
called Omicron, is a type of vaccine. That is, it creates both B cell and T cell immunity, and it's done a better job of getting out to the world population than we have with vaccines.
He looks so nervous.
Surveys in African countries, you get well over 80%.
Sort of like a deranged turtle.
Have been exposed
You know,
either to the vaccine.
Well, because the true plan didn't pass. It didn't
Like a
come
deranged
back.
snapping turtle.
Looking around for someone? He's like looking around. He's worried.
True plan.
He's looking for a soul.
You know, look, for me, I'm always confused, right? Confused. Every time he talks about viruses, vaccines, etc., the first fucking continent out this fucking piece of shit's mouth, sorry,
It's Africa.
It's always Africa.
It's always
Get away with human
Africa,
rights violations.
Sub-Saharan Africa, and then India or Bangladesh or one of them other
Yes,
places.
he mentions India too.
Look at
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, but you come from a quote first world country. Why don't you do these tests, these trials, etc.? Why you don't do it in fucking Sweden, in Finland, in Germany, in Seattle? No offense to anybody in Seattle, but I'm just saying, like, why wouldn't you try to take care of the first world first, the places where you frequent?
Right.
You only go to Africa to do nasty shit. And look, like even in this clip here, now he got the mask on and shit.
I know this is the
shit
beginning.
all
I just want to
fucking
give you
theater,
that
man. It's
image
all
of
theater.
everybody sitting down and taking off the mask. Hilarious. They're just mocking us at this point. And he talks about the mask too for a good long time.
I mean,
about
Chris,
how it's not.
you hit on something.
Restricting freedom.
And that's the reason that the focus on Africa, a lot of that deals with Margaret Sanger, believe it or not. Her involvement with her group's involvement and the eugenics movement, all that shit is all related. Her comments, I'm not even going to repeat them, but if you've seen them, it's just absolutely, it's just gross.
Speaking of gross, let's get back to Bill.
I said he was gonna drop it. He died on the hill for vaccine, and I knew he was gonna drop it. Soon as it didn't give him what he wanted, he was just it wasn't of any use to him anymore.
Well over 80% of people
in typical billionaire
have been
fashion
exposed either to the vaccine or to various variants. And so, what that does is it means the chance of severe disease, which is mainly associated with being elderly and having obesity or diabetes.
He literally looks like he's
those
just
risks
trying to
are now
remember what to say.
dramatically reduced because of that infection exposure.
The emperor has no
And,
clothes.
It's sad. We didn't do a great job on therapeutics. Only here 2 years in,
Bill, your horns
we
are
have
showing.
a good therapeutic. Vaccines,
His
it
hair
took
looks
us 2
bad.
years to be in oversupply. Today, there are more vaccines than there's demand for vaccines.
Yes, wonder why that is.
and,
We're sorry you didn't
that
get hugged
wasn't
enough as a
true,
kid,
and
Bill.
Next time,
Can you
we
not
should
take
try
that
and
on the
make
roll?
it, instead of 2 years, we should
Right.
make it more like 6 months, which certainly, some of the standardized platform approaches, including mRNA, would allow us to do that. So, it took us a lot longer this time than it should have.
This
What's your
time.
greatest concern at this time in terms of combating COVID-19 and the potential for another pandemic? Are we going to see another pandemic before we are
Right,
able to
sad.
do
That's the sadly Baba. That's the sadly Baba Yaga.
It will be a different
Sadly
pathogen.
is.
It'll be a different pathogen.
We'll have some rebound. This pathogen, we don't have a tool to do eradication. We'd like to have a new
darn.
generation of vaccines that would
That's
be
what he would
suitable.
like.
I mean, ideally, we'd get
His
rid
company.
of families of respiratory viruses, including the flu family
Here we go.
and the coronavirus family. And I do think in the next decade we can come
Universal
up
flu
with an eradication vaccine. That's an aspiration, not a guarantee, but we should put R&D dollars into that. There's already a lot of work that's been
Yeah.
done
Well,
on
Bill,
the
your
vaccine,
aspirations turn into guarantees, and we
the
don't
data
like
on
that.
looks very promising.
Right.
So we'll have rebounds, but they'll be more
He's trying
typical
to comfort
seasonal
us with
flu
more gaslight.
levels, where of course we don't generally shut things down.
We don't generally
although in the
shut
future,
things
some
down.
degree of mask wearing probably will be indicated, but we won't get death levels at the kind of acute level that we're still experiencing today as the Omicron wave passes through on a global basis.
Okay, that was him. That was the original clip that's like going around. But there's a really creepy Jeffrey Epstein kind of moment that I really peeped at 4:43 that I think you guys should see.
I got my food here. Warm my food up with this coffee.
What's going on? Is he not muted?
So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not gonna, everybody likes it, what she said. Letters.
Huh?
Let's
I'm
talk
muted.
about pancake.
Look, I wanted to say something about Bill Gates when he
Okay,
was
go
talking
ahead.
about the next pandemic. I don't think it was never about the pandemic. It was never about vaccines. It was about instituting a new level of order and a new level of control
Through
on
nudging.
the world.
You're right.
Right. It was never about that. And all the guidelines and regulations that fell into place for COVID, right? They're not magically going to disappear. They're going to start to become the new normal, so that when the next one comes in, they'll double down on those and continue on his path.
And
So-
you hit on something. Do you guys remember something that kind of got glossed over by Robert the architect Malone's appearance on everything? And that was the admission by the Nudge Unit, which is essentially just a propaganda arm. And this quote, I want people to really keep in mind. This is from a guy named Ruda, who was on the Nudge Unit. He said, "In my mind, the most egregious and far-reaching mistake made in responding to the pandemic has been the level of fear willingly conveyed on the public."
They gotta take Jesus over, and that's what her ass is doing. I'm like,
So again, that was one of the guys. They called it like the behavioral sciences wing or whatever.
Okay.
But that was admitted by government propaganda. So again, that was a unit that was reporting to SAGE. If you guys remember the Scientific Advisory Group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were reporting under SAGE, and then they'd had an admission. The guy Simon Ruda, he wrote an article I recommend everyone go read, where he literally dead ass admits that they were propagandists, that they essentially were pushing state propaganda.
oh, I'm listening.
Marcus.
This is so awkward.
Yeah.
Well, let them know. I put in the private chat on phone. I don't know why they calling me now.
Let's talk about puppies.
Anyway,
Your voice acting.
Yes.
Awesome to talk
Okay.
about because
Yeah.
that's next level, man.
Oh, I appreciate it, Jack. And anytime
Yeah.
Elle wants to do something like that again in the future, I would definitely
Absolutely,
So much
man.
fun. Well,
definitely
okay,
would feel really good about it.
let's
I've
get to.
I was in drama and
You
stuff.
got-
and I never had that much fun. Like I
Yeah.
never,
I've
because that
never
was
had
all
that
off the
much
cuff.
fun
Like,
either.
oh my god, that was great.
Yeah, that was fantastic. And if anybody wants to know what we're talking about, just ask and one of us will put it in the chat for you. What are we looking at now, Elle? What is
Okay,
this
this
next
is
part?
a weird Epstein moment for our great Bill Gates. I'm trying to remember where he is. I put it in a certain area, but it doesn't look like it's that area. Hold on. I don't want to play too much of it. Hold on a second. Is that it? He's so creepy. Damn.
It's preoccupied with its own problems. There's a temptation to sort of forget about the suffering and the need to be generous to these other countries. And, will that happen this time or not? Partly it's making sure that we, bear witness to the difficulties that these countries have and, make sure that, we do a better job than we did in the early stage of the epidemic.
Okay, so I think this
mainstream
is the
media
part.
did a reasonably good job.
Oh, yeah, I mentioned this
it's a
before.
little too bad that the death number that
Wait,
was
are
published
you
daily
pausing it now so you can
didn't
go
say.
over it, or are we still listening?
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
still listening. So he's
So
talking
you-
about the media and how they viewed the pandemic and put the death toll on the screen.
Hey, El, can you restart right before he was getting on to this point right here? Because this is nuts. I didn't know he admitted to this shit.
Hold on. Right before this part? Okay.
Wherever we were playing, or actually, and then just wherever you want to play, because I wasn't sure if I heard him correctly, but
this
didn't he
part?
admit that they didn't use enough fear or some shit? He's just,
we have
yeah, I think it was this part.
commodity markets, particularly maize and wheat with spiking prices. And so, yes, I was in Pakistan yesterday, and the biggest concern there is actually the inflation, because in that food basket,
They were talking about
affects the poor
inflation here.
in a pretty dramatic way. There's different factors for why different products are having inflation, but
I think this is the part I
whenever the
want.
rich world gets preoccupied with its own problems, there's a temptation to sort of forget about the suffering and the need to be generous to these other countries. And, will that happen this time or not? Partly it's making sure that we, bear witness to the difficulties that these countries have, and, make sure that, we do a better job than we did in the early stage of the epidemic.
Comfort, when you think about what happens next with regard to the most
Maybe that
vulnerable
wasn't the part.
population.
Hold on. I could have sworn that was the part. I don't know why I fucked that up. I apologize.
And frankly, disinformation has hurt the world's ability, frankly, to deal
Trying
with
to
the
find a
pandemic.
laugh.
Well, we are very, very concerned with, and I'm very concerned with the issue of disinformation.
Oh,
and
yes, you are, of
misinformation,
course.
When it comes to the
It might be
pandemic,
here,
when
actually.
it comes to our democracy. Let's start with the pandemic. We know that vaccine hesitancy is linked also to the fact that there are social media campaigns that are spreading false information regarding the origin of the virus, its impacts, and also the
NBC,
the
ABC,
impacts of vaccines.
MSNBC.
We see
The
that
bat soup.
throughout the world. This is
The bat-
having
yeah,
an
bat
impact
soup
in
hypothesis.
democracies and in countries.
The second I heard wet market,
which,
the
have
implied
and Comfort could
racism behind
talk
that.
more about
They
that,
just want to
but have
resolve the
had
virus
some
thing in
issues in
COVID so
terms
they can
of
just go into the
trusting
war.
their public health authorities.
Exactly.
But
That's what they're
these
doing. That's
entire
why they're
misinformation and disinformation
minimizing it,
campaigns
and
are-
mitigating
It's
it, and
understandable
saying
that
it's
they'd
not a
have a
big
problem
deal
trusting
because
their
they need everything
authorities when
cool
you have
for the war.
Did you see
They
her,
got their
like,
mass
the way she's
formation and now they
pouring
need a
that?
new one.
Did you see the way she's pouring that water? What the hell? She's a badass.
That is
I
like a
guess.
weird ass way to pour water.
Dr. Fauci giving
That
new
is
information
weird.
every single day.
It's very
Well,
Zuckerberg.
No
you
offense
know-
to him and his
No,
knowledge.
but, we know
I think
that
the
science
elites have
evolve,
issues with
and,
water. I think it could turn them into
definitely,
the demons.
the
Like
idea
you could
was to
expose
make
the
sure that
demon
we were
core.
following science, but when you don't trust your public health authorities,
Sort of like
you put
Gremlins,
people's
right?
lives at risk. So what we want to do as a country is we want to convene experts to find out what are these narratives, who is behind them,
Russia.
how are they affecting communities, and what's the best way to counter them. And I think as a world, we need to come to the table to find a solution, because it is for this pandemic and this crisis, but there will be other crises.
Of
and
course.
we need to know
And
how
you'll
we
make
can be more resilient.
money on
So
those
if
as well.
as every single of our citizens are on the web and became even more in a virtual reality during the pandemic.
Bill, how well
We're
do
not
you
going
think the
into your
media has
metaverse.
done at policing itself
Yeah.
and getting the facts right? And did it damage
No one wants Ready
the world's
Player
ability
One.
to fight this pandemic?
Exactly.
mean,
Nobody
same.
wanted
Well, I
that
think
to happen.
mainstream
Nobody
media
wanted the
did a
metaverse
reasonably
to
good
happen.
job.
Does it kind of
it's
blew
a
my
little
mind
too
watching
bad
that
that the
movie.
death number that was published daily didn't say, unvaccinated X percent, vaccinated Y percent, because then people would have seen the, phenomenal difference in terms of risk of dying, being somebody who wasn't vaccinated. So
How to lie with
maybe next
statistics
time
101.
we'll find a better way to get that message out. The scale of the misinformation, once you move past the mainstream media, is so wild, you almost have to laugh about it.
Oh,
I
this
mean,
is great.
You know, Dr. Fauci and I are just killing millions of people.
Somebody
His
clip
name is the
that.
science.
You know,
Clip that.
hydroxychloroquine's this
Put
miracle
that in
cure
a
that
fucking
somehow
edit.
he and I have masterminded.
They're masterminding.
Avoiding people
What's the
saving their
time frame?
lives by taking this thing.
Or
There's no doubt
447?
that the
447. Got it.
misinformation enhanced vaccine hesitancy, and that maps to hundreds of thousands of deaths. There's no doubt that the idea that, you know, we need the freedom not to wear a mask, you know, and that's some, you know, thing that you've got to show that in many cases that led to spreading the disease into locations where elderly people had very high death rates.
Like Cuomo.
And so, you know, as we look back over the pandemic, you know, having the
He walked away
politicians
scot-free.
that
Cuomo
doesn't
did.
work very well, because then
Here's
you
him
have
talking
to
about the
have control.
politicians.
He walked
The
away
CDC
scot-free.
in our country,
The CDC is the trusted source.
he could have been more front and center. Dr. Fauci became front and center, and you know the key message is about the vaccine is good, you should take it, and some level of mask wearing is good. I don't think he ever confused anybody about the primary messages that saved lives.
What about masks? I think there are a lot of people in America who are confused about whether they should be wearing a mask. And in the
Because
United
Fauci
Kingdom,
said
for example,
no, and
they've
then yes.
scrapped that altogether.
Well, that's interesting. You know, what is the downside of wearing a mask?
Oh, this
I mean,
is
it's
it,
gotta
I
be
think.
tough. You know, you have
Finally.
to wear pants. I mean, this is tough stuff. These societies are so cruel. Why do they make you wear pants?
Why do they
trying
make
to
you wear
figure it out.
pants?
Kids are having issues.
I mean, is he trying to?
Wait, hold
Is he
on, let-
trying to make a? Wait, is he trying to
Yeah.
make a generalization between wearing a mask and wearing pants? Is that
Yes,
is that
and
what
you
we're
gotta
is,
hear-
is that what we're going with?
Listen to how she responds. It's hilarious.
That saved lives.
What about masks? I think there are a lot of people in America who are confused about whether they should be wearing a mask. And in the United Kingdom, for example, they've scrapped that altogether.
Well, that's interesting. You know, what is the downside of wearing a mask? I mean, it's got to be.
It's
tough.
not like they're not
You know,
wearing
you have to wear
masks
pants.
at all.
I mean, this is tough stuff. These societies are so cruel. Why do they make you wear pants? I'm trying to figure it out.
We're
You
very
are,
glad
Bill.
you have yours
See,
on.
No, see the cruelty. No, see the cruelty was forcing people to have to leave and then have to wear said mask if they
Yes.
could have stayed at home or had been paid to stay at home.
I really want, and E, you're hitting on it, because when I heard this, and I've been hearing this from friends, but speech, like people that deal with speech are seeing disorders they've never seen in their lives with kids that had been masked because they're not getting the psychosocial cues, like cues from parents, from seeing other humans
Exactly.
doing, like not having their tongue out. So they're seeing kids that are drooling, that don't know they can't speak properly because they haven't seen people's lips move. They can't understand when someone's upset with them. It's absolutely insane. And then we see when we were seeing kids taking their lives in Vegas, so like Nevada, so bad that they had to reopen schools. I naively thought that was going to be the end, because that made a headline, and that was my fault. I didn't realize how deep this shit was, because that's insane to me.
Yeah, the fallout from the virus.
Can you guys hear me at all?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I hear you. Something in the chat if you could hear me.
Okay.
Hear you loud and clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fallout from the viruses isn't even long COVID or even the massive amount of people dying. I mean, all those are bad, but I'm talking about like the socioeconomic issues that the virus revealed, that Gates and other people in power, those sociopaths, they didn't care anything about fixing any of that. Like
all the
none
contradictions of the system were like dead ass exposed in bare light, and you know what they did? They just gaslit us with those,
and ignored
facts.
it. Gaslit, ignored.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was gonna say at the end of
That's
that.
such a great point, E.
Did you hear when she said, "We're glad that you kept yours on"? Like that was how she ended it. His weird pants thing. She's like, we were glad you kept yours.
They tried
on.
to make it that small joke about pants or whatever, and I'm just
So
like,
stupid. And then it got awkward, and they're like, "No, Bill, shut up."
it was like a joke that he wanted everybody to laugh at. You remember, like Jeb Bush saying, "Please clap," where he said something. He said, "Like, please clap."
Please clap.
That's what it. That was his please. That was Jeb please clap.
You remember, like Jeb Bush saying, "Please clap."
I hear you.
Someone got to mute.
Then the other clip that happened
You're right.
was...
That was a Jeb Bush moment. Oh, sorry.
Oh no,
Go
I
ahead,
just wanted
Ellen.
to finish going back to circling back to Russia and how they were talking about that narrative the whole time, and had Kamala Harris on day 2 before Zelensky came on. Zelensky said a joke. We got to remember he's a comedian. He's the president of the Ukraine, and he's also a WEF alumnus and all that shit. But he said a cyber attack happened because his headphones didn't work. So he blamed it on Russia. And he said, Russia isn't here, but they are here. And everybody clapped and laughed.
Wow.
I mean, I could play that if y'all want, but like, if you're like
I mean,
tuckered out,
I'm
I
kind of
get it.
interested. I'm not gonna lie. It's interesting to see these sociopaths and psychopaths just like reveal themselves. Just
In
like
their element.
their logic isn't even close to what reality would be for the majority of us, like at all. And it's just, it shines. But I've seen that this kind of like when they siloed, not just are they siloed off, it's the whole other, Marcus, you've talked about it. It's like they're locked in for, they're on a whole different level of shit. Like it's like a whole locked in like thing from the day they're born. You know, they're groomed into that process. So we're seeing the results of that. And then all the nepotism and all that shit. So these people don't have a grasp on what actual people deal with. So when they talk, they don't know how to make jokes because, you know, who's going to laugh at their perspective? What does their perspective offer? Like most of the good comedians I've seen had lives that they were like very traumatic, like Hicks. And if you look into that story, and
comedy is relative. And
yeah,
so
relative.
if you're
Exactly.
if you don't understand the person's point of reference, then you're not going to understand the joke. So for instance,
Thank you, Marcus.
if we all saw somebody fall down the stairs, then we all could crack a joke off of remembering that person fall down the stairs. But if their joke is like, remember the time when like we killed that deer and then like you were playing with the intestines, we're like, what are you talking about? But they all get the joke because they're the fucking weirdos who were playing with the intestines.
Exactly.
Now I'll say supplement. You know where I'm going with that, Jack? I'll say supplement that for something else, and then you'll get how the joke really doesn't make sense to us if you take that from a deer or whatever I said.
Yeah, it's
you know what I'm referring to, but I
yeah.
can't say you know what I'm referring to.
I gotcha. That's a good example, man.
But it's like this. I can use this. I can use this reference. Kissing cousins. Let's say if you were in a community where you had a lot of people who were sleeping with their cousins, and that's not how you get down, you wouldn't understand some of their jokes. Same shit.
Oz whistles. I do not.
No, I
Oz
don't.
whistles. I don't think that's true.
Right, no, I do not have a
I don't think that's a prevalent thing that happens in the autistic community.
That's what I was looking for, Charlie. Insulated. They're insulated. They're insulated from all of this. And so like when people like I keep hearing this like I'm seeing like the understanding that the counter narrative is also controlled is very key. Because I see people latching onto Malone and they don't haven't done any like look beyond him to like see into like Dr. Matthias Desmond says, do not use the word psychosis. And you say mass formation because it's a stigmatizing term, which makes sense. He's coming in from it from, just like you said, Marcus, his frame of reference, which is that I want people not to be alienated by my terminology. So I'm not going to call them psychotic.
Yeah, for instance, if we were all like epidemiologists, we would make different jokes like, you know how the cell fucking replicates we're like, what are you talking about? And you know how the isotopes get crossed? And we're like, that's not funny. What are you talking about? Or even let's take it a level which we can understand, but we don't quite understand. I have a friend who's a mortician. Now, my friend who's a mortician says some very morbid fucking jokes. I understand what the joke means, but it does not make it funny. They're like, I'm not even going to go there on the mortician jokes because they're really gross.
We're skipping the mortician joke segment, you guys. For everyone who was really counting on that segment, we're sorry.
Instead, we're going to the Russia cyber attack joke.
which that's not really a joke because that shit is happening.
Well,
And-
here he goes, and I have 2 clips, and then that's it. I swear.
And
But
I
like,
honestly,
I
I'll
worked
say
very hard.
about the Russia cyber attacks. The only reason why they do that is because that's the only way where Russia has a way where they can attack back in some kind of way and not have blowback.
Just
Very
real
much.
quick, Marcus, you want to know
Plausible
why?
deniability. Oh, go ahead.
No, you hit it. Plausible deniability. But I also want to say this: in Russia, if you're a hacker, the government will. They don't do like they do here. The government will just say, "Hey, just try not to like fuck with these things. Like, don't be a nuisance to what we're doing, and you can do whatever you want, basically." So like they don't. You don't hear about arrest in Russia.
Which I know you're gonna know who I'm talking about, but don't say it. But another country does this also, in which they hire a portion of their military to spy on internet conversations and chat rooms and create fake
I know
accounts.
that one. I know what you're saying.
Don't say it.
Don't say it.
I
We
know
all know
it.
who it
I'm
is.
not
We all
saying
know who
it.
it is. All right,
I
go ahead, Marcus.
know you want to say it, but don't.
I'm not saying it.
This
I'm
is like
saying
that game show where you
till
can't
we
say the
get on
magic word.
Odyssey or Roxanne or something.
I'm
And
not
when we
saying
get
anything.
that,
I
when
see
we
nothing.
get that, then let loose.
Not saying it.
It rhymes with
Not
miserable.
I mean, I don't know if you guys remember Desperado. I don't know if you guys remember Desperado when Tarantino was telling that joke, and he's talking about, and the guy's talking about, I can piss on everything in this bar, and not only will you pay me, but you'll be happy. So he's thinking, dick glass, dick glass, dick glass, and he just lets it fly.
Oh my god!
Just like that. No, sorry, I'm inappropriate.
I've forgotten about that scene.
Yeah, I remember that.
I have that movie like photographically remembered, scene by scene by scene.
I'm the same with Pulp Fiction. I don't know if that's good though.
Glory,
All
you
right.
naughty, naughty, naughty person trying to get us in trouble. Shame on you. You're a little baby face assassin. That's what you are.
Well, let's get to this. He's not an assassin, but this guy.
That
he's
we
a
know
former
of.
Comedian. A former comedian named Zelensky. Here he goes.
I will still
This is with Christian Amanpour.
Diplomatic guarantees. Isn't it just simply fair? No one is pushing anyone against the wall with a question for us to be there in the NATO.
Of course,
That's
Glory.
not the case. We
Of
want
course.
it. We do. But until we
Probably
have that
dusk till dawn,
possibility,
too.
what we want is the guarantees, security guarantees.
And I know you have to go. I'm getting the old rap.
Here we go.
But can I ask you?
Just a second. I think cyber attack. Can I have another one for translation? Yes.
And he can speak English
maybe
perfectly, by
Russia
the
is
way.
not here, but they're here.
He said Russia isn't here, but they're here.
Well, it doesn't work. I'm sorry.
How about if I try to talk to you and you'll understand me?
I understand you from the very beginning.
So, like, you know, it's all just a show, basically. So I don't want to go too far into that one because we are moving forward to Ms. Priss, Psycho Saki, as I'm going to start calling her because that's what she is. And she went, you know, they're so about like this SCOTUS thing in the press conferences. To preface that, they keep bringing up like, who's the pick, and then it's just like, damn, shit, chill. And then we're talking about Russia right now. Why are you talking about this? So they kind of like changed the subject on her, and she just is so happy to comply with that change. So if we go there, let's see. And then this will be the last clip from Elle today. She has a lot of clips, and she apologizes for the inconvenience. Here we go.
If we're going to get euthanized, I'll just have Elle show me all these clips extendedly back to back to back.
I apologize. I really do. But you have to see this for what it is, which is bullshit. This is bullshit. This is a narrative. This is a stage play. Here we go.
They're positioned to attack. So, of course, it's an important
moment to have a conversation with his counterparts, but I would expect those to be ongoing. Go ahead.
Did you accidentally leave off of the week ahead the president's interviews of Supreme Court candidates?
Very good. I was like, I'm thinking maybe I left something off. Well, I can tell you that February is not that much longer. It's 10 days, if my math is correct, and we remain on track to make an announcement about Supreme Court, the president's selection for a qualified and credible nominee to serve on the Supreme Court before the end of the month.
My following question
Go ahead.
which is that given what seems poised to go on with Ukraine, is there any thought,
Back to serious.
That if there is an invasion, the president would delay
Where are
the
we?
announcement of the Supreme Court pick, given what else could be going on at the time?
Well, I love hypotheticals, but what I will tell you is that he has every intention of making a decision this month. He's on track to do so. That will mean he will have chosen a nominee faster than any Democratic president in decades. And obviously, he's somebody who has to, as leader of the free world and president of the United States, conduct business on a number of fronts at the same time.
So yeah, basically
Wow.
that's what happened, and I was just my face melted. I was upset. So
Jin
I had
Psaki
to
has a
share
way of
that
doing
pain with
that.
someone else.
Yes, she does. But I think that's all. I think that's all. God, I blanked out what her job was again. Press, whatever.
Press.
Secretary.
Oh, press secretary. Yeah.
Good one,
Or
Yona.
press BSer.
Yona. Oh my God, that's a good one. Man.
Press BSer. That's it. I'm just gonna call it that. Press
You wordsmith.
BSer.
I love it.
So much love for you, Yona.
Oh my gosh, like it's
Let's
all a
call it
joke.
press
to them.
BSer.
She reminds me of the Democratic version of Ann Coulter.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly. Oh my God, that's good. And I love that photo, by the way. That's such a cute doggy.
Hey, no bestiality here, Jack.
Hey man, I used to rescue animals, so again, it only makes
Did they need to be rescued? Did they need to be rescued from you?
No, not from me. From
No, I'm talking about after
shady
that.
people. Oh, after that, no. We actually for a bunch of kids that were like fucking up on everything else, we did not fuck up raising animals.
See,
Everybody think about
Why you-
Salma Hayek now.
See, now.
See?
No, that's what you did, Chris. You did.
That is Gloria's fault.
Think about the snake.
Taking the
Think
blame
about
on
the
that.
snake.
Taking the blame on that. Ooh, snake. What we got
So
That's some funny. That's some funny shit. That was like Skinamax, like a classic back in the day. I mean, even though it was on HBO too, but Skinamax always had the you'd be watching like a regular movie, right? You'd be watching like I don't know, Terminator 2 on Cinemax at like 9:25.
And
You
then it'd be
fell
like, now
asleep.
stay tuned for Hot
You
Buns.
woke up. You woke up at 1:00 in the morning, and it was just like,
Yeah,
like
that's
what the
right.
hell
That's,
is
I
this?
remember
Like,
that.
what the hell?
It wasn't that bad.
Yes, it was, Marcus, and you know it.
It was like
Thank you,
because
Dean.
remember they couldn't show genital areas at all.
They didn't have to show
No,
it,
but
but
still, you knew what they were doing.
But as Charlie
Thank
would
you,
say,
like innuendo porn.
Right.
I
Softcore.
heard
we
a
were calling
rumor
it
that
softcore.
on some of these old movies that they actually were, some
I
of
wouldn't
them,
doubt
they
it. During the
actually-
70s,
Well, I'm talking about even in the 90s.
I wouldn't doubt it either, man, because the 80s were so fucking weird. In Hollywood, dude, someone tells me a story, and I'm like, I have to like go verify it, but I do have a bias for like, it's probably true.
Right.
All right.
Oh
Get it
shoot!
back,
and there's Lucky
Hey, Lucky.
sneaking back in here on us. We saw you in here.
Yeah, you
That means
left.
you
You came back.
Came back. You're busted. Busted.
Catch us on.
You lucky you got that
Monday.
cute animal who plays the drums. Just
Catch us
watch.
tomorrow.
Lucky, you're
Catch
such
us
a
tomorrow.
kind and amazing person, Lucky.
Yes.
Yes, Lucky.
Ladies'
Lucky
night tomorrow night.
Lucky.
What time do you guys go on tomorrow?
Lucky? Is it 4 again?
Oh,
I don't know.
How do you not know what time you're supposed to be on somebody's show? That's
I think it's 4. That's when it was
Well,
last
she'll
time.
put it in the chat.
My time.
Or
Anyway.
they figured out the right technique.
Also, Jean-Luc Brunel died, and he killed himself allegedly, but not really.
Get the fuck out of here.
And for people
When
who
did this
don't
shit
know who
happen?
that is, can you?
Oh, really? You didn't know that? Yeah.
Little Black Book, Jean-Luc
The
Brunel.
unalive. He unalived.
Yeah, he pulled an Epstein, and we know what that means.
So they Epstein Brunel.
Yeah, the guy who was in league with him, who supplied a bunch of girls to Epstein.
Through
Epstein
the modeling
himself.
agency, if I recall.
Let me see if I can go. I can't. Can I? I don't know. I don't know if I can go in further.
Oh,
no,
good.
I ain't gonna let me.
So, all right, good timing. That way, me and Lucky won't bump into each other.
Oh, I can't.
Look, regarding this thing with Jean-Luc, yeah, we put this up on the screen before too. Yeah, he had a bunch of contacts.
I remember that.
With this guy.
Reminder.
Reminder. Here's the thing, like
Oh
everybody's
my
going to
God.
court. Nobody.
That's all the info I would need to do an investigation on someone.
Correct. The thing about it is, everybody's going to court. No one is snitching.
Mm-hmm.
I only say that to say.
I'm sorry. Glory had me distracted. So. See, stop. Behave.
I agree with that. He actually. I agree.
Behave for a couple of minutes.
That's funny, but no, honestly, but going back into something more serious, less fun. People are going to court. Elle just mentioned how Virginia Giffray, I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
Giffray, I think.
How she just settled. This guy's not dead. They chilling somewhere. Like, they became ghosts.
You already know
What's that
where they're
movie with
chilling.
Ryan Reynolds?
Let's not say somewhere.
What's that movie called, Marcus? You know the movie I'm thinking of. It's where they use that special ordinance and they had those collars around those people. Swordfish.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's.
Oh, but it's the. Did you see the one with Ryan Reynolds and that whole crew? What was that?
Oh, where they all
Netflix
say that they're dead and then they come back.
Yeah.
All right.
But they're not.
They're all Kaiser Sose.
No.
It's cheap as fuck. It's not good.
Yeah, it's
no,
not
it's
even
like
that
an action
convoluted.
movie. It's like an action movie he did with a bunch of other people. Like they were all like in some kind of accident, but they were really all like they were
all faked their death.
Oh,
correct.
right.
They all
Okay, I know
faked
what
their
you're talking
death.
about. Yeah.
I hadn't seen that.
So-
And they joined part of his, like, Ryan Reynolds is a billionaire, and he faked his death first, and then he had a whole crew full of people who faked their deaths to be part of his, like, team of.
And all they did was run around
hitmen and shit like that.
destabilizing governments and shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, wow. So they personified American imperialism. Interesting.
No, they just told you what the fuck is going on with some of these people who go away. It's like you remember that old Van Damme movie? What was it like? Shit, I can't remember the name of it.
I think I hear an echo. Someone.
Oh, that's me. My bad.
But what is it? The old Van Damme movie where they would kill off the assassins. I think Mickey Rourke played the other assassin. And then they put all these supposedly dead assassins on this one island, and they're supposed to just stay on the island. But all of them are still fucking alive. And then he actually escapes from the island. But yeah, going ahead, Chris. I got to find that movie because it's going to bother me if I can't remember.
I was gonna say assassin movies though, real quick. John Wick. I think that's a good one. The other two, not so much. The first one though.
Everybody knows John Wick is the shit.
Hey, fun fact. Not a lot of people know this, but Ava Longoria is a major producer of John Wick, the first one, which is so surprising.
Seriously?
I was like,
I didn't
damn,
know that.
she really,
That's
really
wow.
lucked out there. That's a payday right there. Good girl.
Damn, that was a nice fun fact. Yeah, that was a good fun fact, Al.
No, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that, El.
Y'all know
at the
Epstein
credits
was.
and I was like, what? The same girl? Yes, the same girl.
Was a sing girl, sing girl. Oh, that's my shit
I'm
though.
just perusing the article for the people, so y'all can read it yourselves.
Well, somebody just mentioned Bill Richardson in the comments. Like, yeah, he was mentioned as well in the paperwork too.
Mm-hmm.
You mean they haven't raided Zorro Ranch yet, and we've uncovered all the freaky ass transhumanist shit that the media even had to report on?
Thank you, Jack. I say that all the time. I'm like, why are they not really tearing apart New Mexico?
Bingo.
Yeah,
Just like with
they
the
don't
island,
look
dude. I was like, why
bad.
isn't there an excavation crew on that fucking island, dude?
There was a what is this guy? What do you call it? A thing like a raid? Yeah, somebody did like a raid on the island and also the New Mexico ranch, and they showed it. It was True News, not the greatest source in the world, but they did a whole special on it.
I know
with
the
all
ones
these
you're talking
videos.
about. Where
Yeah,
they went
yeah.
up to the island in the boats, and then the person told them they couldn't be there. The security or whatever.
No, that
Is that
was
the one?
the island, but that is different from this one, which was like
Oh,
looking
okay.
inside the house, like not inside the house,
Oh, the
outside
drone
of the
footage.
house. And yeah, the drone footage too. But like this was at the New Mexican ranch and showed like satanic kind of stuff that was
It was
really
double
interesting.
team. Sorry. It was double team.
What? Oh, okay.
Oh, when I saw
the
the movie, he
movie
went to the
Double
island.
Oh, you mean
Oh,
double?
the movie.
You
I thought you
mean
were talking about something
double
completely
impact?
different. Sorry.
Double
No.
impact.
I was like,
No.
good to
Double
know,
team.
but too much information.
Wait, double team sound like the Skinamax version. Like
No.
double impact. is
Double
the real-
team is the one with Dennis Rodman in it too.
All right,
Double
I want you
impact is the one where he's a twin.
to see this real quick.
I mean, it just got freakier, not less.
Hey, I used to watch a lot of Van Damme movies. Shut up.
Fair
That's
enough,
Eva
man, fair
Longoria's
enough.
page right there on IMDb, and she definitely 100% produced John Wick.
Hold on.
Yeah, you're right.
Is that Blue
You're right.
Lagoon?
There
That's
she
the Blue
is.
Lagoon on there?
Boom. And then go all the way down. And then he's where is he? I was just there. Eh. What year was it? 2013.
I don't know. What are we looking for?
John Wick. Oh wait, hold on. God damn it.
So that'd be 7 years before this quarantine, second year, third year of our dear Lord, Saint Fauci. That was hard to
Well, we
say,
saw
dude.
it before. Oh, it's producer. Okay, yeah. Hello. There it is. 2014.
I thought she was an investor, but she's busy doing telenovelas now. Those
No,
are
she
just
was
as
an investor.
painful. Yeah, those are
Yeah,
very
but-
painful too.
Yeah, but when it comes to Hollywood, all of these people like invest in different movies. Like I was looking through there.
Hey,
and I just
Marcus,
I just saw
look
that
at this
Van Damme
comment.
invested in what was that?
Boom.
Ooh.
Y'all and your double team.
Why are you doing that, SD? Why? Behave. Like for instance, if you look at
that was some
you look
funny
at Van
shit.
Damme, he's
He was in that, Kelly.
Yeah,
Dion.
one of the movies he did was like Kung Fu Panda. So you never
But
know.
it's
I'm
weird
glad I
for them
haven't
to
seen that yet.
do. It's weird for them to produce and not be in it. That's why I was so confused because I was like, why isn't she in it anywhere? But she just co-produced it with a bunch.
I mean,
of
to
other
get an
people.
EP credit, don't you just have to know someone and then?
Well, she's a producer. Like that's like legit. She put money into it.
Yes,
okay,
that is
thank
correct. Was the guy that got his penis cut off in Game of Thrones?
He was
Theon Greyjoy.
The House of Theon Greyjoy. Thank you, Marcus. That was bothering me so much this week. I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah,
I was
Theon
just saying that.
Greyjoy
He's
was
just
the
as
one
much
who
of a piece
played
of
the
shit.
punk ass kid in that movie. Well, remember he
Yo,
redeemed.
am I
himself.
the only? Yo, hold on. Am I the only one who didn't like Game of Thrones and thought it was whack?
No, everybody hated the end of it for sure.
Oh, the
No,
ending
I
was
thought the whole
garbage.
thing was whack. Like
I
my
mean, you
uncle
I'm
could.
not
made me
gonna
watch
lie, I
it.
was
I
a
watched
fan.
it,
There
I
were
was
a
a
and I
couple of
thought it
parts
was
I
whack.
liked, but nah.
Not with you, brother.
Overall.
Not
Arya.
with you. The
Look, you
Game
know
of
what?
Thrones
I'm gonna
went
say it
hard.
here. I say it all the. I say. I say it all the time, right? I think people were really getting off on the brother sister thing, because if you look at the porn sites now and you go do a search, I've just heard about this. I've never looked at a porn site, but you know, if you go and check the porn sites, you will see there's a lot
Allegedly.
of like allegedly, supposedly, all the leads in the world.
There you go.
Like, you know, if you go and look,
Just looking
there's
out,
a
man.
lot of brother. There's a lot of brother, sister, step brother, stepmom, stepdad, whatever. It's a lot of weird shit going on. With that being said, like I see why Game of Thrones was kind of popular. People don't want to admit it, but you know they was just waiting. Like, let's get past all this killing and shit. What are the brother and sister doing?
And then the rape scenes were
Man.
very attractive to people as well.
I didn't even think about it like that. Now I got to reassess all that shit. Because I watched, you hit on something. I watched all that before I'd really woken up to a lot of things. So I don't know the subversive elements that I'd miss. Because I wasn't in the same mindset. People forget that took what, over 8 years? 9 years?
No,
Almost
longer.
a decade. Yeah, a decade. You're a different person at the end of that decade.
I mean, but for me, I look at it like this. If I decided to stop watching all the movies with the crap that's in them because I can see through what it is, I couldn't watch anything.
I agree with both of you. These are good points.
Yeah.
I mean, put it like this. If you knew all the dirt every one of your favorite musicians did,
exactly,
you wouldn't be able to listen. I mean, start going down the list. You wouldn't be able to listen to anybody, because what I've learned is
speaking. Did you watch the Kanye doc?
Your level, they all do gross, filthy shit.
Is the Kanye
Hey,
doc?
did you guys watch the? Did you guys watch the Kanye doc?
I haven't seen it yet.
I didn't know
haven't
there
seen
was
it
one.
yet. I'm watching
I haven't
all
seen it
of
yet.
us are dead right now. So
Yo, All of Us Are Dead was my guilty pleasure. I binge watched that shit over like 3 nights, and I was like,
I
yo,
watched
this-
5 episodes. Chris, I watched the first 5 episodes. I literally could not remember. I couldn't remember to scroll down, and I thought there were only 5 episodes, and I was like, I don't know any of these characters enough. I don't care how this ends. And I'm like, oh wait, it ends like this. And I was like, wait, there are like way more episodes. You're stupid.
Look, no, it was bad. It was corny, but I really did enjoy it. I don't know why, but I did like. You know what had me? Well, look, when they were fighting on the roof in the first episode, and homeboy, when he got thrown off the roof and then he got up, I was like, oh, I was laughing so hard I think I had tears coming out my eyes.
I love the
and
sound effects. The cracking.
Oh,
cracking
every
that
time they got a
copied for
They had
Train
excellent
to
Foley.
Busan. That was
No,
so
it
Train
was
to
good.
Busan. And then
No,
they
it
have a
was good,
train
but,
scene at one point, and I'm like, hey.
Correct, but the Kanye the Kanye doc was actually very good, because it wasn't like
nice.
It wasn't it wasn't done by Kanye for Kanye. It was actually the guy who decided to give up his entire career in life just to film Kanye West, because he saw something in him that he saw that he was going to become a star. So it's actually pretty good.
Cool.
We'll see you,
Yo,
Mr.
Street.
Street.
Peace out, guys. Everybody who left,
Have a
thank
good
y'all
night,
for
Mr.
coming
Street.
through. We appreciate it.
Bye, Mr. Treat. It's basically over now.
What? Huh? What is monkey dust? I don't know what's going on with monkey dust.
Is that an obscure reference?
That is true. Well, it's just like another thing. what's his name? Bill Cosby. A lot of people don't realize the reason why all that Bill Cosby shit came out is because they wanted his land.
Correct. It's all controlled. I mean, there's names that we know are in there that we will never hear. Like we already know that hands out. Everything's being controlled. Like the fact that they were like, someone made a point that I thought was really great, even though I understand that there's some technicalities, but it was a just great point of the state of the times. The Ghislaine Maxwell trial versus the Rittenhouse trial. The amount of disparity, not just in coverage, but in like really going into deep around that shit on certain elements. It felt like that you don't need things canceling out each other. You know what I'm saying? Like both are important. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think because of the nuance that we were just talking about, like I think that's the best approach. Because you're right, like we can't just watch stuff because we like it. Because I'd be a hypocrite. Because the legislation that I research, I hate that shit. It's really mind-numbing when you read it. Like when you, I'll just give one example. Actually, probably not right now, but if someone wants to look up the Cures Act, look up the provisions around informed consent, and that's all I'll say. They're called accelerated trial development. Also, medical countermeasures, MCMs, are in there as well. And that goes into essentially not requiring for certain parts of informed consent to be fulfilled because, and you've heard this excuse before, we need to compete with China. So like reading something like that, when you realize that anyone that's trying to make that argument right now, if they still consider the emergency use authorization active, and that's all I'll say, consider that active. That's what it's about.
Well, you'll never be able to compete with China. You know why? Because they put all of their fucking corporations over in China. And you know what happens when you do that? China steals your intellectual property. So how are you going to compete when you fucking give them all your dirty secrets?
And Marcus, it's even worse than that. So some of these agreements to the Chinese companies are actually given the intellectual property. So it's even worse in some situations. They're just flat out giving it. But even from a standpoint that, like, look at what NAFTA did. Like, look at all of the outsourcing. And it was a willing decision to put all of our production in China because of the exploitation. Like, all of that. But then China also benefits as well. So it's like, you got to understand, like, I don't think any states are looking out for us. Right?
Right.
Well, and really it's just like, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But I will say that from a standpoint of like being willing to engage with material, yeah, that's a really hard one to answer. I think everyone kind of has to answer that one for themselves, really. Oh, yeah, let me find that. Yep, that's the one. So I don't know if you guys saw this. So there's during the Freedom Convoy, essentially there was an edict or something that they were going to confiscate gasoline, and it got. I was watching the live stream where they did it. They were aggressively going after people. Essentially, the implications. I really need people to let this sink in. If truckers don't get gasoline, they will freeze to death in Canada. They do not have anything to heat themselves with. This was akin to state-sanctioned murder in so many ways that I think is just being missed. So their response, which I really want people to see, because this dead ass reminded me of V for Vendetta. They sent out the word that they were confiscating gasoline. So all the citizens and the protesters brought gasoline cans the next day. And I didn't see media cover this anyway.
Hey, everyone. Look at this. Tow truck operators in Ottawa are now refusing to help move the trucks. Aw, what a shame. And speaking of epic trolling, well, remember yesterday I made a community post here on YouTube advocating that everyone start bringing jerry cans down to the protest because, you know, the cops are threatening to charge people that bring jerry cans of any kind down. Gas, diesel, propane, doesn't matter. So I said, just grab a gas can. And apparently other people were saying the same thing. And a lot of you in the comments on my post were really looking forward to footage of this. So you're going to like this. I said, we should try to get as many jerry cans in the crowds as there are Canadian flags. Wouldn't that be awesome? This is just fantastic. This is today in Ottawa. You're going to love it.
The video is cheesy as hell, but we'll get to it soon. I apologize again for the audio.
I can hear this in some church.
Canadians call it a jerry can. What do Americans call it?
Gas can, I think.
Yeah, that's what it's called. It's just a
England,
gas
it's called a
can.
petrol can. I've been trying to find the unedited one if I can. Yeah, I think it's just pictures after this. Yeah, there you go. If anyone has the original, the one that I'm looking for is where it just shows the night before where their gas is being confiscated, and then it cuts right to the next day where you see about 1,000, like a few thousand people with those cans walking out of walking up and down the streets, and just 2 frames, and that's all it is. There's no cutting around them. But like things like that, like that's smart.
Yeah, I trust.
What is that?
Oh,
I saw some.
L, I was hey, L, I was laughing at the same thing.
Yeah, but we're not all dead yet, so that's good. Yeah.
The good news is that we're not all dead yet, everyone.
That we know of.
News, or
we
do
could
I
be
want to
trapped. We could be trapped in the episode of Lost.
Or we're in Krampus.
That's a special kind of hell.
Thing. Or Saint Elsewhere. There's an older reference.
Yeah, Choosy, something that you said caught my attention. I know it's gonna sound like it's way out of left field, but I'm trying to remember.
Jonah know his shit too. I just wanted to put that on camera.
What, when he starts talking about Albert Pike and shit like that?
No. Jonah, he just know his music shit.
Oh, sorry. We were on 2 different pages. Sorry.
Jonah.
He says CERN bumped us into alternate timeline.
It's that marmot, man. It's that marmot that we need to find out. We've Shadow and I have already started OHAM, the Order of the Holy Anointed Marmot. So we're not a cult, so we don't recruit people.
No, of course not. I believe you.
That's all I got to say about that.
No, but do you encourage others to start their own cults?
No, I just encourage niceness.
Same.
Cherry can.
And when you guys all get a chance, I think we've reached our limit. I was gonna tell everybody too, when they can, just look up Puerto Rico. Them people really going in there. Protests. They're really demanding a whole lot. They're demanding money. The governor made a promise to pay the people. However, there's not enough money to actually pay the people to, make good on his promise. So just take a look at that when you have a chance. I know there's so many things to look at.
I should be embarrassed
and Haiti,
that you dropped that instead of me. I should be embarrassed with whatever. I mean, I've been following the story, and I've tweeted out a little bit about it, and I've been talking to people back in PR about it. But a list of demands as far as like raising wages, healthcare, asking for healthcare, asking for retirement funds, a lot of stuff. retroactive pay and stuff like that was supposed to be doled out, and money as far as like the pandemic when it was shut down and some of the people were put out of work. So it's a lot of stuff that they've been asking for. When the replacement government came in, they made a lot of promises, but none of that stuff been kept.
Well, also too, the thing about it, we're complaining. Well, I don't know about everybody else, but I know me. One of my biggest complaints these days is going to buy food. It's expensive as hell. Shit don't make any sense.
They're out of shit.
We like to cook.
Yeah, absolutely.
We like to cook. I'm not really the guy. I'm not the guy who wants to go out to dinner. You know what I'm saying? I prefer to cook, right? Or have food cooked for me. With that being said, when you do that, it's very expensive. The prices we see here, it's even like 18% higher in Puerto Rico. So if we all feeling that pinch here, you can imagine what it feels like over there. So as Marcus said, to back up what Marcus said, the public sector is different. Members of the public sector are asking for raises. So we'll see how that works out for them.
And then not to mention, already you still have the Jones Act, which is in place. And so for those who don't know what the Jones Act is, I'm wondering if I have enough time to bring that up real quick. Let's see. I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is super old. If I can find it. Let's see if I can find it quickly.
Yo, L, you are hilarious. I just saw your last comment, L.
What did she say?
Look, you know what, L? You got to get the key to the laundry room like I have. I have the key to the machine, so I can go in the machine, pull it out, get my quarters out, and then do my laundry.
Dude, we didn't get into
Marcus,
it.
did you see L's comment?
Yeah,
no, what she said?
She's been having that problem.
Speaking of that, let me show you guys what I just got in. What y'all know about this? Huh?
Cola champagne. What is
Cola
that?
champagne.
Yeah. I know, but I'm saying if you want real cola champagne, you gotta drink the D&G cola champagne.
No, this is
coming out of Jamaica. That's what I know.
No, this is straight from Puerto Rico.
No, don't let him fool you. Yo, you gotta go get the D&G from Jamaica.
Let me. Oh yeah, I want to show you this. Let's because this will mock you guys just a little bit. Oh, Glory know about this, huh? But let me show you guys this clip. It's kind of a little tongue in cheek, but it's gonna say a lot of serious shit in there. This is old. I had to save somewhere, but I had to find it. Luckily, I was able to find it. But here, peep this out real quick. Let me make it big.
Visit Puerto Rico, America's favorite colony, territory. The Caribbean island famous for its tropical beaches, historic icons, breathtaking scenery, but mostly for... Fortunately, however, few know about the real Puerto Rico, a territory of the United States since 1898, when we seized it from the Spanish, who in turn stole it from the Taíno, which makes Puerto Ricans U.S. citizens, well, second-class citizens, because despite fighting in every one of our wars, they still can't vote for president and have no representation in Congress. In other words, U.S. citizens who have fuck all say in the laws the U.S. government makes for them. And to bring you the ultimate colonial experience, we've made a few over the years, like the gag law, which banned their flag and brutally suppressed independence movements, bombing the crap out of Vieques for 60 years, conducting birth control experiments on Puerto Rican women, and of course, the Jones Act, which enforced a U.S. corporate monopoly that crippled local industry and, along with other crap, created shit tons of debt which Wall Street vulture funds bought up like blood-sucking chupacabras. And when Puerto Ricans could no longer pay back that debt, we made a new law. No, not to ease poverty and unemployment, but to impose austerity measures, cutting pensions and the minimum wage, cutting university funding, closing down schools and hospitals. Today, many Puerto Ricans are fleeing the island from this unholy shit show we created, which of course gives rich gringos the chance to move in and buy up tropical beaches at a discount. Don't miss our special neo-colonial tax holiday package. And you too can be a pirate of the Caribbean, sipping pina colada with chupacabras, while Puerto Ricans get kicked out of their homes. Visit Puerto Rico, the island you never even knew we were colonizing the shit out of. Authorized by the Department for the War and Territories. Also responsible for bullshit in American Samoa, U.S. Virgin Islands, North Mariana.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Well done.
Didn't know
That
about
was
that
well
one?
done.
That was well done.
I'm
Very
glad
nice.
they're still at it.
And I learned
There's
some
still
shit in
at
that
it with
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did. I
and
learned
there's
some
so
stuff.
much more. What a lot of people don't realize is when they were talking about the sterilization of the Puerto Rican women, that literally went on at the same time of the Tuskegee experiments.
Oh.
I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, it went on from 1940 to like 1972.
That's the thing is when they do that kind of sick shit, they always try to do a little. All their side ops they do it around the same time. Like if they, like that's why I figured if those dates looked really, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't
And
even
the
want to go
syphilis-
into a lot of the stuff, but you say your Aunt Feeney is in Vieques. Oh, okay, and my peeps are in Humacao and San Juan.
One of
And then
the-
I have some other people who, oh goodness, different places, Ponce, Yunque, a couple of other places around the island. So
One of the physicians involved in the Tuskegee syphilis experiment also was involved in the Guatemala syphilis experiments, which were from 1946 to 1948.
Yeah, if I knew how to put this in the chat, I would. I still have no clue how to right-click links. Actually, yeah, I have no
Put
clue.
in the
how to do
private,
that.
I'll put it in there as
Yeah,
well.
I don't even know how to do that. I don't know how to.
Oh yeah, you can't
grab
do
the
that.
link and
Obviously,
do
hello.
Right click, go to copy.
Yeah, but I don't know how. I don't know how to right click on this computer at all.
My bad.
See, I have that problem. I had to get a wireless keyboard.
Hold on a second.
If you go to settings, I think you can activate. I don't know though.
I don't
I know what you
It's
mean.
Freaking Mac.
Yeah,
No,
I have
I like this
a
shit.
Linux, and it's very similar.
Let me see. Let me try it.
Jack, do you have a Linux?
Yep.
Which kind do you have?
Only. I like them. So I don't recommend Gentoo because Gentoo you gotta bake your own bread with Gentoo. Ubuntu's the easiest for anyone to use
Right.
because
Yeah.
that's
I
the
love
easiest
Ubuntu.
experience.
Yeah.
And Debian is what Ubuntu is based on. That's more or less what I like to use because Debian's
Yeah.
kind of like
Okay.
the least intrusive
I have
version.
Pop.
I think Ubuntu after that, just because it's harder to fuck up an Ubuntu
How do you-
install.
You're the first person I know who has Pop L.
Well,
Pop's
that's
great.
really
I
Pop,
know.
if
I've
you have a
heard it.
laptop-
I've heard good.
Yeah,
I've
if
heard
you have a
good
laptop,
things about
put
it, but
Pop
she's the
OS
first
on it.
person.
I have
Yeah.
I have
Love the
System
operating system.
76. Which company? do
Yeah,
you-
System 76 are.
Oh my
System
god, I
76
want a
is
computer
great
from
because
System 76
Yes,
so
Luna
bad. Their
Pro.
guys,
computers
this
are
is
so great.
key. System 76 turns off the Intel management engine, which is what the NSA was caught using in all those leaks on spying on people.
And they're so great in customer
yeah.
service, by the way.
System
Yeah, they
76
are.
has
They
those
just
off. It's
crush
called the
customer
Intel
service
ME.
and
They actually
promos
care.
and
They're in
everything.
Oh, they're
Colorado.
amazing.
They're always
They have
available.
They do.
their build
They do.
quality alone. Like I cannot recommend System 76 enough. And I know it sounds like I'm shilling for
I
them, but they
love
just
them.
make good shit. And they
They
turn off
do.
they allow you to upgrade
Any
all of
problem
your
you have, they'll
all of
fix
your
it.
stuff. Yeah, they not only that, but how they package things, how they handle customer service.
Yes.
But the main thing is you got to
Oh,
keep this in
wow.
mind. Turning off that Intel management engine provides you with a level of security. Like you guys can't go into your computer right now and turn that off. By
Is that
default, they
Allie?
turn it off.
Allie
That's
who?
crazy.
No, there's Allie in the
Uh-oh.
chat. Who? Which Allie is that?
Oh shit! It is Allie.
Yeah, System 76. And that's the Intel management engine.
Shout out to System 76, who is totally going to see this.
Yeah,
later.
sponsor the show, man.
Make them see it. I'll call them.
Oh.
I'll call them. Or
Did I
I'll
get you
tweet.
all
Look, I
I'll
just want to.
Got it.
Look, I just want to interrupt to address this really important thing, right? That Glory just said. The unsung hero at every Jamaican market restaurant is the pineapple soda. It has to be the soda
Alright,
and the
hi,
damn food because they are so rude. They're the most rudest people. And look, you go to a Mexican spot, you say, "Oh, do you have X, Y, Z?" They say, "No, but we can get you this." You know, you go to Burger King, they always got, well, you go to McDonald's, they always got fries, right? Jamaicans, they the only ones that's like, yeah, you have ackee and salt fish? No. And the girl just sit there filing her nails. She's not even gonna offer you nothing else. Yeah, they just very rude people. I'm sorry, that's my people. I just had to get that off my chest. Sorry. Glory, you'll know what I'm talking about. PR is one of the few places in the world with a bioluminescent bay, a bucket list item. If you can make it down there, yes. But you know, they've done some really nasty things in Puerto Rico too. You know what I'm saying? I
Hey,
often wonder why.
watch it now.
Watch it now. No. I'm talking about like what the United States government has done to Puerto Rico. I I don't understand why they haven't just decided to like struggle on their own versus being part of the United States. I mean, I get it, the benefits they get, because trust me, I know I'm from New York. You know, you'll meet plenty of Puerto Ricans. I know I know too many. But with that being said, they could still get benefits. So half the people are like, yo, I'm not cutting off my benefits. I don't want to become an independent state. The other half is like, no, we need to be on our own. So it's always going to be, they're never going to decide one way or the other, unfortunately for them.
Ella, you trying to get me wound up? Are you? Don't do that.
All right, guys, I gotta get going.
All right. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get ready to close out.
Yeah, it's 10.
Actually, I thought I had my background on this.
Yo, E, peace out, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Cause I got a background of what was it, San Juan and Yauco. For it's
bye,
beautiful.
everybody.
I'll show you guys next
Appreciate
time.
y'all being here.
But, all right, yeah, it was good to have you, E.
Bye, E.
Alex M
Bye, guys.
says I am also from NYC too. Yeah, y'all need to link up, Chris. But oh, and a lot of people don't know how much of the pharmaceutical industry run their drugs through Puerto Rico also. At one point in time, it was something like 78 to 80%.
Well, yeah, and then they killed the industry over there, and that's what really led to a lot of, that led to a lot of problems.
That and the basis too, leaving. But yeah, L will be on with Lucky Burrito tomorrow. I believe it's 4:30 Pacific time, so that will make it 7:30 Eastern time. We will be here tomorrow, myself and Chris, at 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern, and we will have on some of our colleagues and friends, which I'm so excited for this Black History special. We'll have Glory Jones will be there of Slow News Day. We'll have Sabby Sabs will be there also. We will have hopefully he said he might be able to make it, might not. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, Unapologetic can make it. And of course, Mr. Nico House. He will be there also. So make sure to check that out at 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific. And if you guys are, if you're interested, get there at, I want to say 4 o'clock. I have a couple premieres that I'm going to do right before. And so they should drop right around 4 o'clock. One of them, I won't say. I'll just let you guys look for them here. So look for that. Look for those premieres. A couple of videos that are going to precede the panel. I don't want to say because I want everybody to have a fresh reaction to these videos I'm putting together. So yeah, I need to hop off myself to get back to work, getting them done so they can be done in time. But that said, anything else we need to? Anybody else got anything?
No, I was gonna say this new time is good because I can actually go out and go party now.
Yeah.
Instead of it being 3 o'clock, instead of me just going and people watch the drunk. Yeah, instead of watching all the drunk people pass in front of my building at 4 o'clock, now I can go out and I can actually go party with them.
Well, you go have a drink for all of us, all right?
Oh, been doing it.
I should have known. But yeah, thank you everybody that tuned in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And for the team of the Political Matrix, we'll all see you guys next week. And Jack, whenever, in fact, what I'm going to do is I'll just make sure that you have the link whenever you're free that you can hop in. So
nice.
Even if you can't make it right on time at the beginning of the show, or you could just dip in for a minute, I'll make sure that you have the link, brother. Thank you everybody who tuned in with us tonight, and you all have a wonderful, wonderful, safe, peaceful holiday weekend. I'll have a good one. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for being here.
Bye. Sleep well.
Have a good night,
Thank
everyone.
you, guys.